Chapter 563. 563 Chapter 563 Extinguishing Light. Although Jian Mang and Kumingjiang are very strong, they can't resist the attack of Dao talismans. The onlookers also felt that Lu Chongxing is too tasteless. He can't beat others. He actually used weapons and Dao talismans. Lu Chongxing is also desperate and quickly shouted, "The disciples of Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, let's quickly join forces and take them down. As long as we take them down, we can get a lot of heavenly beast bones. We have a lot of heavenly beast bones and the elders of the sect will protect us." Qin Yun quickly rescued Jian Mang and Kumingjiang. Other disciples of Immortal Weapon City also rushed over to heal Kumingjiang and Jian Mang. "Destroy them!" A middle-aged man from Azure Flame Immortal Mountain shouted and rushed over. The people of Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain saw Jian Mang and Kumingjiang injured and knew that there are not many people in Immortal Weapon City who can fight. "Lu Chongxing, you are dead." Qin Yun looked at Lu Chongxing and shouted angrily, "It is you who are dead." Lu Chongxing laughed. "Our Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain join forces. Your Immortal Weapon City can't do anything to us, haha." After Lu Chongxing threw caution to the wind, he also ignored the consequences. Because he felt that his talent is so good and he got a lot of heavenly beast bones for his sect, he will definitely be protected. There are dozens of disciples of Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. After they rushed over, they surrounded Qin Yun and more than a dozen people. The onlookers are just watching the excitement. They dare not offend Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. "Kumingjiang, are you still alive? Hand over all the heavenly beast bones in your hands." Lu Chongxing sneered. "I will not give it to you even if I die." Kumingjiang was seriously injured and his skin was scorched black. Jian Mang is not much better. Qin Yun stood up and looked at Lu Chongxing and said coldly, "Lu Chongxing, you lost to me in martial arts. You should have given me 200,000 genes of heavenly beast bones. And now you not only did not give it but also used Dao talismans to hurt our people. You are really despicable. There are so many people watching here today. Are you not afraid of losing face? You forced me to do that. You are obviously a small character in the 9th level martial Dao realm, but you have repeatedly stepped on my head." Lu Chongxing was also angry. "Since you have repeatedly humiliated me, I will go all out. Now, what I can do is to obtain the greatest benefits for my sect and fellow disciples. If they pursue this matter, I will bear the responsibility alone." Lu Chongxing's words were so impassioned that the disciples of Medicine Immortal Valley were secretly moved. "Bah! Robbery is robbery," Qin Yun said angrily. "Everyone, capture them, torture them and force them to hand over the good things on them." Lu Chongxing also plans to do a big job. The square shield that he had just taken out was a Xian artifact. However, it was blasted apart by Qin Yun's hammer. Therefore, he knew that the hammer was not simple and wanted to obtain it. The group of people hurriedly flew over. Although the disciples of Immortal Weapon City are very angry, they are helpless and they did not abandon Kumingjiang and Jian Mang to escape. "You are courting death." Qin Yun roared and released the bone dragon puppet. Suddenly, a huge bone dragon appeared in the air. The bone dragon roared and the dragon tail swept down and suddenly swept a group of people out. "Yun Darren, did you release this?" Lu Chongxing was shocked and the bone dragon also made him envious. "Yes, you are going to die." As soon as the bone dragon came out, under the control of Qin Yun, the disciples of Azure Flame Immortal Mountain and Medicine Immortal Valley were scattered and most of them died. Even the Spirit Martial Realm Martial Masters were killed in 2 or 3 moves. Qin Yun clenched the 9 Sun Divine Hammer and quickly rushed to Lu Chongxing. Lu Chongxing gritted his teeth and quickly took out a talisman. He turned into a black shadow and fled. Shadow Escape Dao Talisman. Qin Yun cursed a few times and could not see the trace of Lu Chongxing. Lu Chongxing ran away, which made Qin Yun extremely angry. Since you want to rob us, don't think about living. Qin Yun, who was furious, quickly flew behind a middle-aged man and hit him with a hammer. The 9-Sun Divine Hammer unleashed a ferocious primordial Tao power. It furiously released a flame that directly killed the middle-aged man. Yun Darren, you want to kill us? A middle-aged man who fled was scared to death. Yes, I am going to kill you. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for listening to Lu Chongxing. Don't worry, I will definitely kill Lu Chongxing. The bone dragon in the air, with a claw, slammed the middle-aged man to the ground. Qin Yun fell and smashed him with a hammer. Another spirit martial realm martial master had died. The onlookers were dumbfounded. There was a burst of fear and amazement in their hearts. The spirit martial realm of Medicine, Immortal Valley, and Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain are all main sect disciples. Although not the top kind, it is also very important for an immortal sect. Boom boom boom. Whether it is a spirit martial realm martial master or a 9th level martial Dao realm, they were either killed by the bone dragon or killed by Qin Yun. Everyone is dumbfounded, watching Qin Yun and the bone dragon cooperate and kill the disciples of the 2 immortal sects one by one. Endless anger is burning in Qin Yun's body. This makes his 9-Sun Divine Hammer even more furious, and the primordial Tao power is even more fierce. As long as you are hit by the hammer, you will be seriously injured even if you are not dead. If you are hit by the second hammer, even if you are blasted into slag. In less than a moment, the world became quiet. The bone dragon was taken back by Qin Yun and the ground is a mess, full of debris. Although there was a wave of scorching hot air, everyone felt a chill down their spines. The disciples of Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain and Medicine, Immortal Valley are almost all killed. This caused the onlookers to tremble inwardly. In the proud star state, this is a very sensational event. It has been a long time since so many disciples of immortal sects have been killed, and they were killed in public. The disciples of Immortal Weapon City are also dumbfounded. Don't worry, I will not implicate Immortal Weapon City. I will not be a disciple of Immortal Weapon City. After Qin Yun flew back, he took out 2 light inscription talismans and attached them to Kumingjiang and Jianmang. Although Kumingjiang is seriously injured, he can also see what has just happened and he is shocked to the extreme. Yun Darren, you can rest assured. I promise that our Immortal Weapon City will definitely accept you as a disciple. Lu Chongxing used Dao talismans to injure me and Jianmang, and also mobilized his disciples to rob us. This is his fault first. Our Immortal Weapon City is reasonable. Naturally we are not afraid of Medicine, Immortal Valley and Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain. Kumingjiang patted Qin Yun's shoulder. If Medicine Immortal Valley covers up Lu Chongxing, then I, Jianmang, will be absolutely irreconcilable with Medicine Immortal Valley in this life. I will not rest until I die. After Jianmang recovered a little, he said in a low and hoarse voice. His voice was very low, but everyone heard it clearly. The murderous aura with sword power collided with the hearts of everyone. It can be seen how angry Jianmang is at this time. Kumingjiang said, "Go, let's go out. Lu Chongxing should be outside." Jianmang and Kumingjiang, with the support of each other, walked to the light curtain and came to the platform of the iceberg outside. There is a spacious square and the sky around is full of flying ships. As soon as Kumingjiang and the others came out, they saw a group of people outside. The sect elders of Immortal Weapon City, Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain are all here. Mingjiang, how did you get hurt so badly? A one-eyed old man from Immortal Weapon City, with a cold face, quickly came over. Just now Chongxing said that your Immortal Weapon City is bullying him inside. An old man from Medicine Immortal Valley came over and said angrily. Where is Lu Chongxing? Jianmang said weakly. The origin sword in his body also flew out fiercely, With a monstrous murderous aura sword power, it filled the square. The resentment shocked many of the older generation. Chu Binyu, the villa master of Saber Sword Villa, also quickly came over. As soon as he came over, he recognized Qin Yun, and he was surprised, but he did not immediately ask questions. Lu Chongxing, he is full of nonsense. Kumingjiang was furious. He attacked us with Dao talismans. Humph, did you attack him first? The old man from Medicine Immortal Valley sneered. Fart. Jian Mang, who was furious, quickly rushed to the old man from Medicine Immortal Valley with his sword, but was quickly stopped by Chu Binyu. Subsequently, Kumingjiang told the whole story. The disciples of Sword Immortal Pavilion and Demon Immortal Cave, who came out, also nodded to testify. Let that bastard Lu Chongxing come out. He still owes us 200,000 genes of heavenly beast bones. Kumingjiang glared at the old man from Medicine Immortal Valley and roared. Several elders of the Immortal Weapon City have extremely ugly expressions on their faces, because their disciples were actually besieged by 2 immortal sections. The elders of Medicine Immortal Valley were speechless at this time. You, the disciples who besieged you, how are they now? An old man from Azure Flame Immortal Mountain asked quickly. They are all dead, I killed them. Qin Yun stood up. They besieged us, I had no choice but to do so. I am just a temporary disciple, one person does one thing. This has nothing to do with Immortal Weapon City. The one-eyed old man quickly shouted. How can this have nothing to do with our Immortal Weapon City? You alone killed that group of bastards, it is a meritorious deed. You killed them all? The old man from Azure Flame Immortal Mountain said with a trembling voice. Yes, many people have seen it. Qin Yun's face is not afraid. He is always ready with Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron. If they attack, he will also fight back. The elders of other sects are surprised and excited in their hearts, watching the big show. Because for many years, these major immortal sects have not had any collision. The elders of Medicine Immortal Valley are also ashen. Because the disciples they sent in are almost all dead. Can't be said that they are very good, but at least they have good talent. You Medicine Immortal Valley, quickly call Lu Chongxing out. Jian Meng said angrily. I want to cut this bastard with my own hands. Lu Chongxing was injured and was taken back for treatment. The elder of Medicine Immortal Valley, although angry in his heart, thought about it carefully. He also knew that this was their fault first. Then you will be punished on his behalf. As Jian Meng spoke, the origin sword in his hand stabbed at the elder of Medicine Immortal Valley. Chapter 564. Immortal Sect Conflict. Jian Meng usually does not like to cause trouble. At this time, he is so angry and took the initiative to attack the elder of Medicine Immortal Valley because he was seriously injured by Lu Chongxing. The injured Jian Meng, although his sword speed is very fast, the person he attacked is a martial master in the middle and late stage spirit martial realm. Presumptuous Junior. The old man from Medicine Immortal Valley also attacked quickly and sent Jian Meng flying with a palm. Medicine Immortal Valley bastards, I will fight with you. The one-eyed old man of Immortal Weapon City roared and slammed his palm across the air. The strength of the palm blade turned into a sharp air blade and directly killed the elder of Medicine Immortal Valley. The one-eyed old man is a martial monarch of Xian martial realm, and his strength is several streets away from spirit martial realm. It was very normal for him to kill his opponent in one move. This made the elders of other sects dumbfounded. People from other sects did not want to get involved in this dispute and quickly retreated from the platform. Immortal Weapon City, don't go too far. The old martial monarch of Medicine Immortal Valley said angrily. At this time, only the people of Immortal Weapon City, Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain are here. You hand over Lu Chongxing, otherwise I guarantee that more of you will die. The one-eyed old man said coldly. Lu Chongxing used Dao Talisman to seriously injure the disciples of our sect and also encouraged others to besiege and kill the people of our immortal weapon city. This is all his fault. The disciples of Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain were also killed when they besieged Qin Yun and others. This is the most painful thing for them. Therefore, they must get it back. At the moment, Azure Flame Immortal Mountain and Medicine Immortal Valley can no longer care about their mistake. They all agreed that Immortal Weapon City must pay the price. As for Lu Chongxing, they can't hand him over. He is an excellent seedling with Fire Xian body and Fire Totem. Moreover, he also obtained more than 100,000 genes of Heavenly Beast Bones, which is a great contribution. There are only a dozen elders in Immortal Weapon City, and Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain have a total of nearly 30 people. In number and strength, they are superior to Immortal Weapon City. Immortal Weapon City, you have to see the situation in front of you, the old man of Medicine Immortal Valley said coldly. In this world, strength speaks. Can you beat us? Since you can't beat us, you don't have the qualifications to negotiate with us. The old man from the Medicine Immortal Valley is a martial king. His aura is so oppressive that Qin Yun and others can't breathe. Don't think that we're afraid just because you have more people. Even if I die, I will drag a few of them down with me. Although the one-eyed old man was in the profound martial realm, he wasn't afraid at all. Chu Binyu sighed and said, "Although I am a guest elder, I am also a part of the Immortal Weapon City. Since you want to fight, let's fight." Chu Binyu's strength is not weak at all. It seems that he has the cultivation of Martial King, but many people feel that he has surpassed Martial King. Then let's fight. The old man from Medicine Immortal Valley roared, took out a long spear and stabbed at the one-eyed old man. Kill. The one-eyed old man grabbed the long spear with his palm and shouted. In an instant, a group of martial lords and martial kings soared into the air and started a chaotic battle. Several spirit martial realm martial masters are still watching Kumingjiang and others on the ground. Kumingjiang and others are not afraid because there are two old men here to protect them. You are seriously injured, it should be very painful, right? It's better to die. A middle-aged martial master from Medicine Immortal Valley grinned and rushed to Kumingjiang and smashed down with a stick. A short old martial master quickly slashed out with a saber and blocked the long stick. Then he shouted to the old man next to him, "Elder Zhang, quickly protect these juniors." Elder Zhang is a disciple of the Tian family with another surname. Although his surname is not Tian, he also has a high status in the Tian family. Elder Zhang just stood there and watched. He did not mean to make a move. "I don't want to mess with you." Elder Zhang smiled coldly. The short old martial master also knows the character of Elder Zhang and can only grit his teeth and face the few martial masters. Quickly kill Jianmang. This guy can cultivate the origin sword. His strength is the most terrifying. An old martial master of Azure Flame Immortal Mountain quickly shouted. At this time, there is also a martial master who stabbed Jianmang with a sword. Jianmang was hit by a palm just now and now he can't avoid it at all, let alone fight back. Qin Yun suddenly slashed out a saber and directly cut the long sword that was stabbed. Seeing Qin Yun's saber, Elder Zhang's eyes widened and he shouted, "Dao tool? And it is an ancient Dao rune, are you Qin Yun?" The surrounding onlookers were instantly shocked. This Yun Darren is actually Qin Yun. However, Qin Yun obviously can't enter the Heavenly Beast Desolate Domain, so why did he come out from inside? Qin Yun, how did you enter the Heavenly Beast Desolate Domain? Elder Zhang asked. I didn't go in from that entrance. As Qin Yun replied, he continued to slash a few times, resisting a martial master. Kumingjiang looked at Qin Yun with surprise. Of course he has heard of Qin Yun's deeds. He previously learned that Qin Yun was restricted from entering the Heavenly Beast Desolate Domain and felt very regretful. But unexpectedly, Qin Yun actually went in. Elder Zhang's face sank. He took out a long sword and suddenly stabbed Qin Yun. Qin Yun took out the 9-Sun Divine Hammer and seriously resisted the two martial masters of Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain, and Medicine, Immortal Valley. He did not pay attention to the back. Elder Zhang's swift stab was very fast. Qin Yun, be careful! Kumingjiang shouted and used all his strength to fly over. Qin Yun turned around and found that Elder Zhang actually pierced Kumingjiang's body. Captain! Qin Yun's eyes were red and he suddenly roared loudly. His speed was as fast as lightning. He rushed over and hit Elder Zhang's head with a hammer. Boom! Elder Zhang's head was instantly smashed into pieces, and he was directly blasted to death. The crowd watching the battle in the air made a burst of exclamation. Qin Yun actually killed the elder of their sect. The martial masters of Medicine, Immortal Valley, and Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain, did not expect Elder Zhang to suddenly attack Qin Yun. Elder Zhang of Immortal Weapon City suddenly turned around and attacked Qin Yun. This matter is indeed beyond everyone's expectations. The most terrifying thing is that Qin Yun was actually able to kill that Elder Zhang. There are also many Tian family disciples among the onlookers. But they did not make a sound, otherwise they would have been involved. The people of their Tian family were killed by Qin Yun. This matter must be reported back. Qin Yun, who was angry, quickly mobilized all his strength. The iceberg suddenly trembled violently. Qin Yun released the power of Earthquake Divine ability, and through the 9-Sun Divine Hammer, he used 6-style Forging Dragon. He faced a middle-aged man's long sword and smashed down with a hammer. The sword was smashed into pieces, and the martial master was forced to retreat a few steps. Qin Yun, go and protect Kumingjiang and Jian Mang. The short martial master, his combat power is also very terrible. He has repelled 2 enemies. Qin Yun quickly pushed behind Kumingjiang and Jian Mang. Above the distant sky, there is a constant rumbling sound. Martial Monarch and Martial King are fighting very fiercely over there. There is a feeling of collapsing mountains. Many of the mountains nearby had collapsed. Even for this iceberg, many layers of ice had shattered. Let's retreat. An old man from Medicine Immortal Valley, seeing that they are no match, flew to a blue flying giant ship. Kumingjiang was stabbed by a sword and his injury is even more serious. He saw the flying giant ship that is slowly moving and said in a low voice, Qin Yun, that is the flying magic tool of Medicine Immortal Valley. Lu Chongxing is most likely inside. Everyone also looked at the blue flying giant ship. At this time it suddenly moved. It is very likely that it is going to escape. Don't even think about running. Qin Yun shouted and then released the bone dragon. The bone dragon roared out, flying in the air, domineering and powerful, exuding a powerful dragon power, shocking everyone. Roar, roar, roar. The bone dragon roared a few times and flew to the blue flying giant ship, slammed into it and directly pierced a hole in the big ship. The huge bone dragon drilled into the body of the giant ship and raged inside. It was only a few moments and the giant ship was torn into many pieces. The sect disciples floating in the air were shocked and quickly moved away from the bone dragon, fearing that they would be affected. After the blue giant ship was torn apart, several figures also appeared. The bone dragon opened its big mouth and quickly bit an old man and bit him into 2 pieces. Lu Chongxing, don't even think about running. Qin Yun saw Lu Chongxing and hurriedly controlled the bone dragon. Although the bone dragon is huge, it is very fast. It flies flexibly and its tail swept down like lightning, knocking down the fleeing Lu Chongxing. Lu Chongxing, who fell down, smashed a big hole in the square. Lu Chongxing fell and saw Qin Yun. Yun Darren, so you are Qin Yun. Lu Chongxing shouted with a hideous face. Yes, you cheated me of 100 million purple crystal coins, it's time to pay it back. Qin Yun flew over. His palm contains a vibration force and slapped Lu Chongxing's face. Boom. At the same time as the vibration, a large amount of lightning burst out. Lu Chongqing was sent flying dozens of meters. His face was crooked and his teeth fell on the ground. Qin Yun quickly chased after him and grabbed Lu Chongqing's hair. Vibration power roared out and he slapped Lu Chongqing again. Boom! This earth-shaking sound also shocked everyone. Lu Chongqing, the famous medicine Immortal Valley, was actually beaten by a spirit martial realm. Lu Chongqing, Qin Yun, just wanted to enter the medicine Immortal Valley to be a medicine farmer, but you secretly cheated, destroyed the assessment and embezzled 100 million purple crystal coins from me. Qin Yun said coldly as he delivered another slap. Lu Chongqing's face was covered with blood. Although he was afraid, he thought that Qin Yun would never dare to kill him. Qin Yun, I once cheated you, so what? You are just a lowly thing. Letting you enter the medicine Immortal Valley to be a medicine farmer is a shame to our medicine Immortal Valley. Chapter 565. Star Monarch Lu Chongqing also knows that his strength is not as good as Qin Yun, but he is fearless and very confident that Qin Yun will not dare to kill him. Qin Yun, if you have the guts, kill me. As far as the current situation is concerned, the guys in Immortal Weapon City are not the opponents of our medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. Lu Chongqing vomited blood and laughed. Qin Yun waved his palm and slapped him fiercely. Quickly take out 200,000 genes of Heavenly Beast Bone. Dream on. I have already given the Heavenly Beast Bone to the elders of the sect. Lu Chongqing was beaten to the point that he couldn't speak clearly. His heart is full of resentment and anger. Qin Yun, you wait for me. I will definitely tear you into pieces. The pain I suffered today, I will double it. Qin Yun smiled coldly. Lu Chongqing, you think too much. Do you think I will let you live? Why do you really want to kill me? If you are a smart person, you should use me to threaten the medicine Immortal Valley and let them stop. Only in this way can the people of your Immortal Weapon City survive. Lu Chongqing said. You will die today, there will be no other variables. After Qin Yun finished, he beat Lu Chongqing back and forth. The talismans that Lu Chongqing could use have already been used up. After being injured by Qin Yun, he could not fight back and could only let himself be beaten. Qin Yun, you let Lu Chongqing go. It is nothing for you to offend the Long family and the Yang family. If you offend our medicine Immortal Valley, you will die. There is an old man in the distance. The angry and cold voice came from far away. The tone is full of threat. Lu Chongqing was grabbed by Qin Yun's collar and his face has been beaten out of shape, but he still smiled coldly. Qin Yun, did you hear that? Our medicine Immortal Valley has a half-immortal level expert. Lu Chongqing, you can't beat me in martial arts. You use weapons and also use talismans to injure the captain and Jianmang. You owe me 200,000 genes of Heavenly Beast Bone and you still want to live? Also, you cheated me of 100 million purple crystal coins before and prevented me from entering the medicine Immortal Valley as a medicine farmer. This account is now settled. Qin Yun pinched Lu Chongqing's neck and sneered. You don't have purple crystal coins, and you don't have a Heavenly Beast Bone. If you refuse to apologize to Captain and Jianmang, then you can only die. Qin Yun, you dare? Lu Chongqing saw the killing intent in Qin Yun's eyes and immediately shouted. The people in the air looked at Qin Yun quietly. They all thought that Qin Yun did not dare to kill Lu Chongqing. Qin Yun, stop. In the distance, an old man suddenly flew over. He is from the medicine Immortal Valley. At the same time, several elders of the Immortal Weapon City also flew over. Lu Chongqing, die. Qin Yun shouted coldly. The 9-sun divine hammer in his hand suddenly fell down, suppressing a vast and mighty flame. Boom! The flame poured into Lu Chongqing's body. Even if he had a very strong fire Xian body, at this moment, it disappeared without a trace along with the flashing flames. Just now, everyone thought that Qin Yun did not dare to kill Lu Chongxing, but now they are all wrong. Seeing Lu Chongxing die, everyone was stunned. A young spirit martial realm with fire Xian body and fire totem was killed. People with this kind of qualifications are rare and very important for immortal sections. But now, he has been destroyed. Qin Yun, you are dead. The old man from the medicine Immortal Valley roared in the distance and rushed over like a thunder. Chu Binyu also quickly rushed over and sent the old man from the medicine Immortal Valley flying with one palm. Medicine Immortal Valley, this is also the result of your greed. If you honestly hand over Lu Chongxing's heavenly beast bone to us, then he will not die. As Qin Yun spoke, several old men from the medicine Immortal Valley suddenly flew down. They are all Xian martial realm martial monarchs. After they landed, they immediately launched a fierce attack. Fortunately, Chu Binyu's strength is very strong and he can resist the attacks of these people. The people in the Immortal Weapon City are relatively few, and facing the people of the two immortal sects, they are also suppressed. It is very good that they can hold on until now. Suddenly, a few people flew in the air. Their aura is very strong and at a glance, they know that they are at least Martial King. Which sect's helpers are they? When everyone saw the Martial King appear, they all guessed. The people who came are not from any sect but the people of the Divine Inscription Palace. Qin Yun knows one of them. That person used to be the great palace master of the martial desolate Divine Inscription Palace, named Han Fenghu. Han Fenghu is wearing a white robe and looks like a very spirited old man. When he arrived, he saw the chaos here and his face was very dignified. I am from the Divine Inscription Palace, stop! Han Fenghu shouted. Soon after, he and the few old men also entered several chaotic battlefields and separated the many martial monarchs and martial kings who were fighting with each other. After the chaos stopped, it finally calmed down. The people of the medicine Immortal Valley glared at Qin Yun and said all kinds of threatening words to Qin Yun. At this time, all the old men of the medicine Immortal Valley suddenly rushed to Qin Yun and launched a fierce attack together. Chu Binyu and the others quickly blocked the powerful energy that was flying over. The people of the Divine Inscription Palace did not expect the people of the medicine Immortal Valley to not give face. The chaos just stopped and immediately began again. Qin Yun and others were also shrouded by a tyrannical airflow. The people of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain and the medicine Immortal Valley. At this time, a dozen people of the medicine Immortal Valley could not resist. Even Chu Binyu was injured, but he still could not stop the people of the medicine Immortal Valley. After an old man of the medicine Immortal Valley rushed in, he did not go to Qin Yun. Instead, he rushed to Jian Mang and Kuming Jiang. Jian Mang and Kuming Jiang were injured, and it was very inconvenient for them to move. Although Qin Yun was next to them, he could not resist the fierce impact of a martial king. The martial king rushed over and did not attack. Instead, he used the fastest speed to grab Kuming Jiang and then soared into the air. Qin Yun, hand over your 4 ancient Dao tools and I will let this guy go. The martial king of the medicine Immortal Valley also went all out. The loss of the medicine Immortal Valley is not small this time. So many disciples died. Now that they have a death feud with the Immortal Weapon City, he also wants to seek more benefits for the medicine Immortal Valley. Qin Yun, don't give it to him. Kuming Jiang shouted. If you let them get the ancient Dao tools, it will only make them stronger, don't give it. Qin Yun's ancient Dao tools were obtained from the disciples of the Nine Suns sect. They are not good things. They are just ancient Dao runes. The people of the Immortal Weapon City are very angry, but they are few in number and can't do anything to the medicine Immortal Valley. Qin Yun quickly took out 4 ancient Dao tools and looked at the people of the Divine Inscription Palace. He said to Han Fenghu, "This senior, you are from the Divine Inscription Palace. I will give you the Dao tools first. When that bastard releases the people, you will give him the Dao tools. Han Fenghu thought about it and nodded. Yes. Qin Yun is also worried that Kumingjiang will be killed, so he can only compromise. If the Dao tools are gone, they can be refined again. If Kumingjiang dies, he will feel very guilty. Lu Chongqing was killed and the people of the Medicine Immortal Valley also went crazy. They can kill Kumingjiang at any time. After Han Fenghu got the 4 ancient Dao tools, he looked at the old man of the Medicine Immortal Valley and said, "Our divine inscription palace has the responsibility to mediate the conflict between the major immortal sects. After you get these 4 Dao tools, you must leave here immediately. If there is anything to talk about, the sect masters of both sides must come out to talk." After the martial king of the Medicine Immortal Valley released Kumingjiang, he also took out the 4 Dao tools. He laughed and said, "Qin Yun, you don't have the ancient Dao tools. Let's see how you can put a bounty on our Long family's patriarch." This martial king is from the Long family, which made Qin Yun hate the Long family even more. "Medicine Immortal Valley, your biggest mistake is to take away my Dao tools. You will definitely regret this in the future." Qin Yun's voice contains killing intent and resentment. "Ha ha ha, you Qin Yun is just a little thing. You dare to come to our Medicine Immortal Valley to make trouble? Not to mention you, even the sect master of the Immortal Weapon City would not dare to come." The Medicine Immortal Valley obtained 4 ancient Dao tools, which also made the people of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain extremely envious. They have lost a lot of disciples, but they didn't get anything at all. The Medicine Immortal Valley obtained many heavenly beast bones from Lu Chongqing, and now they have 4 ancient Dao tools. The people of the Immortal Weapon City quickly protected Qin Yun, Kumingjiang and Jianmang. In order to prevent the fight from continuing, Han Fenghu also came to the Immortal Weapon City group. "Immortal Weapon City, if you want to talk to our Medicine Immortal Valley, you can only hand over Qin Yun, otherwise we will not rest until we die." An old man from the Medicine Immortal Valley, after leaving behind ruthless words, left with his people. The people of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain are also very envious when they see Qin Yun's bone dragon. They also want to catch Kumingjiang and threaten Qin Yun to hand over the bone dragon. But they don't have this opportunity. "Immortal Weapon City, you listen. Most of the dead disciples of our Azure Flame Immortal Mountain were killed by Qin Yun. As long as you hand over Qin Yun to us, the grievances between us can be written off." The people of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain said, "If you think about it clearly, you can come to us and talk." The people of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain finished and quickly left. Jianmang said angrily, "It is obviously their fault. If they had not besieged us inside, Qin Yun would not have killed them. It's all because of this bastard Lu Chongqing. If you can't afford to lose, don't gamble with others." Kumingjiang yelled. He is very unhappy in his heart because Qin Yun lost 4 ancient Dao tools. Chu Binyu smiled. "It's okay, at least everyone is alive now and they have lost a lot of people." The bastards of the Medicine Immortal Valley got Qin Yun's 4 ancient Dao tools. When Kumingjiang thought of this, he felt suffocated in his heart because Qin Yun gave away the Dao tools in order to save him. The one-eyed old man said, "Mingjiang, go back and heal." Chu Binyu looked at Han Fenghu, cupped his hands and said, "Thank you for coming in time, otherwise we would be in big trouble. This is our duty." Han Fenghu waved his hand, then looked at Qin Yun and said, "Can I talk to Qin Yun alone? I want to figure out what happened. This can also give me an explanation when I go back." Chu Binyu nodded. Han Fenghu brought Qin Yun and flew far into the sky, far away from the iceberg. "Qin Yun, when you were in Martial Desolate, although you had a conflict with our divine inscription palace, it was resolved later," Han Fenghu said. "N." Qin Yun nodded. "So, we are not enemies now." Han Fenghu smiled kindly. Senior Han, if you have something to say, just say it. Qin Yun saw that Han Fenghu must have something important to say. Chapter 566. Immortal Fire Pool. Qin Yun has always been very worried about Yang Shuyue. Now that he knows this news, he is relieved. Because those people can't catch Yang Shuyue, they can only use this method. Qin Yun, I don't know the people of Immortal Weapon City, so I don't know what kind of people are in power in Immortal Weapon City. But I know that they are also looking for inscription spirit. I tell you this now so that you can keep an eye on it. If there are people with bad intentions in Immortal Weapon City, maybe they will use you to threaten Yang Shuyue. Han Fenghu has a certain understanding of Qin Yun and knows that Qin Yun has great potential, so he does not want to be enemies with Qin Yun. I will be careful. Qin Yun nodded. Also, if Immortal Weapon City gives up on you, you have to leave as soon as possible. Don't let Immortal Weapon City hand you over to Medicine Immortal Valley. Han Fenghu said. Immortal Weapon City should not be so weak, right? They are definitely not afraid of Medicine Immortal Valley. Even if they want to do something to me, they will only use me to threaten Sister Yang and will never hand me over to Medicine Immortal Valley. Qin Yun said. This is also true. In short, if there is any bad news for you, I will let Mu Feng inform you as soon as possible. You go back with the people of Immortal Weapon City now. If you want to live a better life in Immortal Weapon City, it is best to let them find your greatest value. Han Fenghu told Qin Yun. Qin Yun nodded and then flew with Han Fenghu. After Han Fenghu and the people of Immortal Weapon City exchanged a few words, they left with their people. Qin Yun and they also boarded the flying ship of Immortal Weapon City and left. Many disciples of other sects have to continue to explore the Heavenly Beast Desolate Domain because they did not get any Heavenly Beast bone. Qin Yun is on the big ship and he is also being stared at, because he made a big mistake and he is still a temporary disciple. If it is really necessary, Immortal Weapon City will also take him out to be the scapegoat. Now, Chu Binyu and Qin Yun are in a secret room. Villa Master, what will Immortal Weapon City do to me? Qin Yun looked at Chu Binyu's kind face and asked in a low voice. I don't know. In short, you are a disciple of my saber sword Villa. No matter what, I will protect you. Chu Binyu smiled. Immortal Weapon City should not give up on you directly. After all, you are an inscription master with great potential. Villa Master, I heard Lu Chongxing say that there are half-immortals in Medicine Immortal Valley? Qin Yun whispered. Is there any in Immortal Weapon City? Martial Monarch is above Martial King. Martial Emperors could be said to be the pinnacle of human strength. If you go any higher, you can become an immortal and head to the Immortal Desolate. Speaking of the Immortal Desolate, Chu Binyu let out a long sigh. Although I am also a martial emperor, I don't know how to become an immortal. There is a special situation between humans and immortals, and that is the half-immortal realm. My current goal is to reach the half-immortal realm. That's why I want to enter the immortal sect. This way I can absorb even more immortal energy. At the same time, I can also ask the seniors who have entered the half-immortal realm for guidance. Are there many people in the half-immortal realm? Qin Yun asked. Not many but not few. These guys are always thinking about opening the gate of the Immortal Desolate and entering the Immortal Desolate. Chu Binyu smiled. Don't think so much now, step into the spirit martial realm first. There is still a long way to go in the future. Qin Yun felt that he was about to enter the spirit martial realm. He got a lot of herbs to refine bone spirit Xian pills. As long as he has time, he can refine them into pills. The flying ship flew very fast and it didn't take long to return to the sky above the Immortal Weapon City. Many temporary disciples, because they found some heavenly beast bones, were able to smoothly become outer sect disciples of the Immortal Weapon City. Qin Yun obtained 60,000 genes of heavenly beast bones, which is a lot. As for the role of heavenly beast bones, even Chu Binyu is not very clear. It is said that in addition to refining Tao tools and alchemy, there are other great uses. The role of heavenly beast bones, it is said that only those in the half-immortal realm know. The interior of the immortal weapon palace is very large. There are many large and small mountains, like a small mountain range. As long as you have not reached the spirit martial realm, you can only be an outer sect disciple. After breaking through to the spirit martial realm, you can become a main sect disciple and enter the center of the immortal weapon palace to cultivate. Although it is the outer sect, the buildings of the outer sect are also very imposing and the immortal energy is also richer than outside the palace. Over the years, there have been many outer sect disciples. They are all excellent disciples absorbed from the 5-star sects or other second-rate sections. As long as they have not stepped into the spirit martial realm, they can only stay here. Many people are originally very good but they can't cross the chasm and can't enter the spirit martial realm, so they can only be an outer sect disciple. If they are old and become a main sect disciple again, they will be laughed at. After Qin Yun entered the immortal weapon palace, Chu Binyu has been watching. The matter of the heavenly beast desolate domain quickly spread throughout the immortal weapon city, and the disciples in the immortal weapon palace also had various reactions after learning about it. Some people think that Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain are too arrogant and need to be taught a lesson. They all think that Qin Yun and Kumingjiang did the right thing and killed when they should be killed. As for some people, they criticized Qin Yun for provoking such a huge matter. Most of the disciples felt that Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain were wrong and supported Qin Yun. Qin Yun has tens of thousands of genes of heavenly beast bones to contribute, but because of a series of major events, the Immortal Weapon City does not accept him as a disciple and also caused many elders in the palace to dispute. The elders are divided into two factions. One side wants to accept Qin Yun and affirm Qin Yun's rebellion against Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. In order to demonstrate to Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. The other faction thinks that Qin Yun is rejected and talks with Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. The two factions are arguing endlessly. Although there are more elders who want to accept Qin Yun, the elders who refuse to accept Qin Yun are not willing to be outdone. Qin Yun is in the outer sect disciple area of the palace and can only stay in a small house all day, watched by Chu Binyu. He can't leave here until the results come out. Chu Binyu is also worried that the Immortal Weapon City will hand over Qin Yun, so he is here to watch Qin Yun. If the Immortal Weapon City refuses to accept Qin Yun as a disciple, he can take Qin Yun away in time and make other arrangements. Qin Yun is in the room, lying on the bed. Yun what is the use of those heavenly beast bones? Qin Yun is very curious about this because he has nearly 300,000 genes of heavenly beast bones. There are tens of thousands of genes that he quietly took away when he entered the warehouse. The remaining 200,000 genes were obtained from the captain of the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. The tens of thousands of genes of heavenly beast bones that he handed over to the Immortal Weapon City were won by him in various competitions and were stored in Kumingjiang. I really don't know. Ling Yun has also been thinking about this issue. Don't you know everything? Qin Yun curled his lip. Well, I admit that I don't understand some things, but I understand most things better. Ling Yun tenderly snorted. You kid, don't look down on me. Chu Binyu suddenly knocked on the door and said, Qin Yun, the results are out, come and listen. Qin Yun hurriedly walked out of the room and saw the one-eyed old man. This one-eyed old man has a good relationship with Kumingjiang and is also an elder in the palace. Qin Yun, our sect master is back, he said to keep you as a disciple. The one-eyed old man said. Qin Yun smiled. He secretly guessed that the sect master of Immortal Weapon City had just returned from the remote Moon Mountain range and also went to compete for the Star Lord inscription spirit. But the people who opposed it did not agree and finally made a compromise, that is, let you accept the punishment, and there is no reward for handing over the heavenly beast bones. The one-eyed old man supported Qin Yun to stay, so he was very dissatisfied with the result, but there was no other way. What punishment do I have to accept? Qin Yun asked. You have to be hung on the immortal fire pool for 7 days and 7 nights. The one-eyed old man said. No. Chu Binyu slammed the table. Not to mention Qin Yun, even if it is the people of Spirit Martial Realm, how many can bear this punishment? If Qin Yun can survive, there will be a weak period of 2 or 3 years, which will affect his foundation. The one-eyed old man whispered, It's all that group of bastards, the Main Long family, Tian family, Yang family and Yu family, these 4 clans united against Qin Yun. In the major sects there are children of the 5 clans. Even the Immortal Weapon City is no exception. Of course, these family forces in the Immortal sects only have half of the power, otherwise Qin Yun will be handed over by them. I am willing to accept the punishment. Although Qin Yun was dissatisfied with the result, he could only do so now. What he has to do now is not to let the family forces in the Immortal Weapon City find excuses. As long as he accepts the punishment, they can no longer say anything in the future. Rest assured, my ability to bear is stronger than many Spirit Martial Realm. Qin Yun smiled. Lu Chongqing has Fire Xian body, and he is still in the Spirit Martial Realm, but he is not your match. Chu Binyu stared at Qin Yun and asked with a smile. Qin Yun, you tell me honestly, are you hiding something? Qin Yun, in the Immortal Weapon City, most of the elders support you. You don't have to worry about those family forces causing trouble. You can rest assured and say it. The one-eyed old man also said, This is a very realistic thing. As long as we know your value, we can do our best to protect you. Well, I will say it, don't spread it out. Qin Yun thought about it and said. The one-eyed old man and Chu Binyu nodded. Qin Yun felt that his matter in the Martial Desolate should be spread out soon, so it is okay to say some of his own things. I have Heavenly Lion bloodline and Heavenly Lion totem. Qin Yun said. Is this true? Although Chu Binyu was prepared, he was also shocked by this and found it hard to believe. As Qin Yun spoke, he took off his upper body clothes and then let the Heavenly Lion totem emerge. One must know that other people's totem runes can't be hidden. However, Qin Yun can control his totem freely. The one-eyed old man and Chu Binyu were shocked and opened their mouths wide. Chapter 567. Family Forces. The strength shown by Qin Yun, the one-eyed old man and Chu Binyu, while shocked, are also full of joy. If this is the case, then we will support you even more. The one-eyed old man laughed. In the Immortal Weapon City there are 2 forces. One is those family forces, the other is our non-family groups. You should also know that those family members have very strong inheritance, some have bloodlines, some have totems or strong physiques. And the disciples who have just joined the Immortal Weapon City, as long as they are good seedlings of their family, they will tend to cultivate with various resources to strengthen their power in the sect. Qin Yun frowned. Does our Immortal Weapon City's sect master not care about this kind of thing? As long as our Immortal Weapon City has powerful martial kings and martial emperors and excellent disciples continue to increase, the sect master will not care about these battles. In fact, in other sects, the situation is roughly the same. The competition is cruel and can also screen out more excellent experts. Now, you have Heavenly Lion bloodline and Heavenly Lion totem, then you can represent our young talents to fight against the young disciples of family forces. The one-eyed old man said with some excitement. What about Lu Jingmeng? She is young and also a Xian inscription master. Which faction does she belong to? Qin Yun asked. She is from the Lawkeeper Hall. She does not belong to either faction. The Lawkeeper Hall is external and does not participate in internal affairs. It is managed by the sect master and the Great Elder. The one-eyed old man said. Lu Jingming's situation is quite special. Even in the Lawkeeper Hall, she is treated specially and has a very high status. Chu Binyu said. I also investigated Lu Jingming, but the Lawkeeper Hall is very mysterious and I can't find anything at all. Qin Yun did not feel surprised at all because Lu Jingming has an immortal body. This kind of transcendent talent must be the sect master, and a group of super old guys are responsible for guiding. That Long Yuetao actually wanted to marry Lu Jingming before he really did not die. Lu Jingming's immortal body talent must be concealed. This kind of thing is too shocking, so she will definitely be well protected. Ling Yun said. Natural immortal body, even in the immortal desolate, there is such treatment. Qin Yun now has a general understanding of the immortal weapon city. When will my punishment begin? Asked Qin Yun. If you agree, we can start now. Chu Binyu said. After learning that Qin Yun has the Heavenly Lion bloodline, he and the one-eyed old man were relieved. Qin Yun, don't worry. I will inform the elders on our side about this. If everything goes well, we can get a few bone spirit Xian pills for you. The one-eyed old man said. Qin Yun was alarmed. He never expected to receive such good treatment. Of course, I'm not giving this to you for free. What you have to do in the future is to suppress the arrogance of the family forces. The one-eyed old man said. I have a great enmity with the Long and Yang families, and they wish they could get rid of me. In that case, I will definitely find opportunities to suppress them in the future. Qin Yun nodded and said. After the discussion, Qin Yun followed the one-eyed old man and Chu Binyu and left the small house for the southern district of the Immortal Weapon Palace. The southern district of the Immortal Weapon Palace is a small town with many ancient buildings and streets. Many outer sect disciples come and go here. The outer sect disciples are mostly 9th level martial Dao realm. Although there are also spirit martial realm, it is because they are too old to enter the main gate and can only serve as a small steward outside. This vast Immortal Weapon Palace is also a city in the city of Immortal Weapon City. Although it is called a palace, it does not look like a palace. It is said that a long time ago it was called Immortal Weapon Sect. Later I don't know how it was changed to a palace. There must be other reasons for this. In the middle of the outer sect area, there is a huge pool with a width of 200 or 300 meters. This pool is burning with flames, which are used by outer sect disciples to burn weapons and make weapons stronger. The flame of the immortal fire pool absorbs immortal energy through the formation, so the flame is also very special and the weapons that have been burned will become stronger. Also, it can be used by outer sect disciples for cultivation. The immortal fire pool is located in the middle of a huge square, burning with a white-yellow flame. In the open space dozens of meters away from the edge of the immortal fire pool, there are many outer sect disciples sitting cross-legged, absorbing the hot air released for cultivation. When Qin Yun came here, he saw many outer sect disciples, who were seriously cultivating. He secretly felt it and could also absorb a little hot immortal energy. If he absorbs it into his body for cultivation, it can indeed enhance the strength of his body. The 9th level martial Dao realm is the stage of cultivating the bone spirit. It requires various methods of stimulation to successfully open the spirit. Cultivating next to the immortal fire pool, there have been many examples of successful opening of the spirit. So many disciples will come here for a few days as long as they have time. When they saw Qin Yun coming, they all whispered, "Is this Qin Yun? You have to be hung in the center of the immortal fire pool for 7 days and 7 nights to become an outer sect disciple. He is a troublemaker. If he wants to become a disciple of our immortal weapon city, naturally we have to warn him and let him not mess around in the future. Where did he cause trouble?" It is clear that Medicine, Immortal Valley, and Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain, are wrong first. When I was outside, the disciples of those two sects didn't stop yelling at us. That's right, Medicine, Immortal Valley, and Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain are asking for a lesson. Qin Yun taught them a lesson. This is very beautiful. Who told him to offend the Long family and the Yang family in our Immortal Weapon City? These family forces are very strong. I hope he can get through it. If our Immortal Weapon City does not accept him as a disciple, we will definitely be laughed at by Medicine, Immortal Valley, and Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain for being weak. After accepting Qin Yun, it means that our Immortal Weapon City is not afraid of them. Qin Yun walked on the road and heard many disciples talking. He probably knew that many outer sect disciples did not like those family forces, and they did not like Medicine, Immortal Valley, and Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain. They were bullied by the disciples of the family forces inside the Immortal Weapon City. When they were outside, they were bullied by the disciples of Medicine, Immortal Valley, and Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain. Qin Yun, however, dared to confront these forces head-on. So he is also supported by many people. In the middle of the Immortal Fire Pool, there is a pillar. Qin Yun's hands are tied and he hangs on the stone pillar and his back is attached to the burning pillar. This looks like torture. Qin Yun also felt a little uncomfortable and now he can only endure it. Chu Binyu also watched from the outside to prevent other people from making trouble. Little Yun, the immortal fire of this immortal fire pool should be used well. Ling Yun suddenly said. How to use it? Qin Yun asked quickly. Of course, it is to stabilize your current Heavenly Lion Xian body. Ling Yun said. Your Heavenly Lion Xian body has just been formed. If you temper it well, the effect will definitely be better. How to temper it? Qin Yun felt that the Heavenly Lion Xian body is not strong enough. Later, Ling Yun controlled Qin Yun's Nether Sun martial spirit and carefully introduced the flame of the immortal fire pool into his body to temper the Heavenly Lion Xian body. In the future, you will have to integrate the Heavenly Lion Beast soul as a bone spirit soul. Now you will first temper the Heavenly Lion Xian body, and then it will be easier to integrate the Heavenly Lion Beast soul. Qin Yun was hung and roasted by fire for another 7 days. He also took advantage of this time to cultivate. Ling Yun controlled the Nether Sun martial spirit and introduced the flame to temper the body, and the effect was very good. Although Qin Yun felt a little uncomfortable, he could feel that the Heavenly Lion Xian body seemed to be fully nourished, which could make his whole body stronger. 2 days passed and suddenly more than a dozen arrogant young people came. These dozen young people are all dressed in fine clothes. There are Spirit Martial Realm, and there are Martial Dao 9th level. At first glance, you know that they are the children of those families. Although those families are very powerful, they can't just put their disciples in. If you want to enter the Immortal Weapon City, you have to pass the assessment. And it is the Lawkeeper Hall that is responsible for the assessment. Therefore, the disciples of those clans that seemed very arrogant were actually very capable. The outer sect disciples who are cultivating here saw the arrival of this group of family disciples, and they all left to make way for them. You are a group of garbage, cultivating in this place all day. It's no use at all, it's very annoying. A proud man in blue clothes, holding a folding fan, sneered contemptuously. Many outer sect disciples are very angry, but they dare not say anything. When Chu Binyu saw these family disciples coming, he also frowned and watched from the side. As long as they don't go in and attack Qin Yun, he won't say anything. Isn't that Qin Yun? Hanging like a dead pig, it's really satisfying. His 4 ancient Dao tools have been taken away. Let's see how he can still put a bounty on our Long family's patriarch. This arrogant guy offended Medicine, Immortal Valley, and Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain, and gave us trouble. This bastard has been roasted for 7 days and 7 nights. Even if he doesn't become a roasted pig, he will have to lie in bed for a few years. This group of family disciples mocked and ridiculed Qin Yun. They came here to provoke Qin Yun. Do you have people from the Yang family and the Long family? Qin Yun suddenly asked. I am from the Long family. I am from the Yang family. Someone answered immediately. Everyone was also secretly surprised. Qin Yun looks very energetic. You know that he was hung there and roasted for 2 days. Go back and tell your patriarch that I, Qin Yun, will use the golden ape totem to put a bounty on their 2 dog heads. Qin Yun laughed. You should know the value of the golden ape totem, right? Everyone suddenly burst into an uproar. That is a very good totem rune. The value is not lower than that of the ancient Dao tools, and even slightly better. Everyone knows that when Qin Yun and Long Yuetao competed, he won by carving the golden ape totem. The golden ape totem is a garbage totem in the eyes of Qin Yun, and he is not distressed at all. The disciples of the Long family and the Yang family suddenly looked very ugly, because their patriarch still has to continue to hide. Come, let's enhance the flame of the immortal fire pool together. We want to burn weapons. A disciple of the Long family took out a weapon, placed it in the immortal fire pool, and then injected energy into it to make the flame of the immortal fire pool more fierce. More than a dozen other family disciples also came over and injected energy into it. Soon, the flame of the immortal fire pool became fierce. The original flame was only half a meter high, but now it is more than 1 meter high. Chapter 568. 568 Chapter 568 Flame Confrontation. After Chu Binyu saw it, he quickly came over and shouted, Are you deliberately stirring up trouble? The flame of the immortal fire pool is relatively mild in ordinary times. If needed, it can be injected with energy to make the flame of the immortal fire pool more fierce. These family children, more than a dozen people injected energy together. It is obvious that they deliberately enhanced the flame in the immortal fire pool. Originally, the normal immortal fire pool flame is not too terrible, it can be endured. Now that it has been enhanced so much, it is even more difficult to endure. Don't you see that we are using the flame of the immortal fire pool? Is there a rule that we are not allowed to use the immortal fire pool? Isn't it just punishing a person? Because of this reason, we are forbidden to use the immortal fire pool. This is too inhumane. Chu Binyu heard the words of these disciples, and the kind face became serious and angry. What the hell do you want? He clenched his fist and wanted to slap all these family disciples in front of him to death. We are refining weapons. A young man laughed. He did put the weapon into the immortal fire pool. Chu Binyu, you are just a guest elder. Aren't you meddling too much in this matter? A man in luxurious red clothes sneered and said, You just obediently watch from the side and prepare to collect Qin Yun's corpse. Why are you talking so much nonsense? The guest elder really has no status, but it is relatively free. However, Chu Binyu's strength is still very strong. You stop quickly, Chu Binyu said coldly. Why? Is there any rule? You have the guts to stop us. A young man sneered. Chu Binyu suddenly waved his hand and hit a wave of air, which swept all the dozen family disciples out. The flame in the immortal fire pool suddenly weakened a lot. This made those family disciples angry. Chu Binyu just gently took them away and did not hurt them. This is in the immortal weapon city. If they are injured, Chu Binyu will also be attacked by the elders of those family forces. At this time, several old men arrived. They were all elders of the family forces. There were elders of both the outer sect and the main sect, and they had more power and influence. Subsequently, more than a dozen young disciples came. All of them are the disciples of those families. Continue. A blue-clothed elder from a family force said coldly. Although the strength of these elders is not as good as Chu Binyu, they are not afraid at all. Elder Chu, please don't interfere with our disciples using the immortal fire pool. The elder in blue looked at Chu Binyu and said in a threatening tone. Why are you doing this? Is it not enough to punish Qin Yun for 7 days? Chu Binyu asked with a trace of anger in his voice. None of the clan elders answered. Now, nearly 30 family disciples are constantly injecting energy into the immortal fire pool to enhance the flame. The flames burned very high in an instant, reaching a height of several meters. Qin Yun's lower body was completely covered in flames from his shoulders up. The flames were very strong. At that moment, Qin Yun found them extremely hot. He could only mobilize all the power in his body to protect himself from being burned by the flames. Chu Binyu looked at Qin Yun, who was hung. He was anxious and angry and wanted to fly over. If you save Qin Yun, he will not be able to complete this punishment and he will not be able to enter the immortal weapon city. The blue-clothed elder said coldly. Chu Binyu also seems to understand the intention of these people, which is to prevent Qin Yun from entering the immortal weapon city. Qin Yun, who was burned by the flames, finally couldn't bear it and screamed in pain. Qin Yun, can you hold on? Or don't enter the immortal weapon city first. Wait for the opportunity later. Chu Binyu looked at Qin Yun in pain and asked quickly. I can persist. Qin Yun gritted his teeth. I will not let the plan of this group of traitors succeed. Chu Binyu's eyes also showed a look of admiration and nodded. Good. You must persist. The disciples here are also cursing the family disciples in their hearts. They actually want to torture Qin Yun like this. When they saw Qin Yun's strong and unyielding spirit, they were deeply infected and secretly admired him. Under such a fierce flame, Qin Yun can actually bear it. This kind of strength is also shocking. The elders of those family forces thought that Qin Yun was wearing a Dao tool armor, but now it can be seen that Qin Yun's upper body clothes were burned. His whole body is wrapped in flames. At this time, some people also found that the surface of Qin Yun's body was wrapped in a layer of black things. It's a black flame. Is it a black fire martial spirit? It should be true. This mysterious black fire is really powerful. It can actually resist such a fierce flame burning. After everyone saw it, they all marveled. The black flames released by Qin Yun are like clothes, wrapping around his body. This is the strongest nether sun fire released by Ling Yun through the 9 life marks under the control of the nether sun martial spirit. Chu Binyu also felt very surprised and said, Qin Yun, if you survive, you will be an outer sect disciple. With your strength, you will definitely be able to win a lot of resources. Stepping into the spirit martial realm is just around the corner. After the elders of the family forces heard this, their faces changed and then quickly walked over. They also injected energy into the immortal fire pool. Hoo. After several martial kings injected energy, the flame of the immortal fire pool rose sharply and was more than 10 meters high. Now, Qin Yun can't be seen at all. You bunch of bastards, just you wait. Qin Yun roared loudly. Villa Master, which family do those elders come from? Yang family, Long family and Tian family. Chu Binyu saw that the flame is so strong and he could not help but worry. Qin Yun, why don't you give up? The other disciples all felt that it was a pity. They also know that those family forces are determined to prevent Qin Yun from entering the Immortal Weapon City. Villa Master, help me contact Immortal Fox Elder, Hu Jingxian of Demon Moon Island. I want her to reissue the bounty. I want to use the Golden Ape Totem to place a bounty on the heads of the 3 families in the Proud Star State. Qin Yun's angry voice shook from the sea of fire. The square was shrouded in a hot air, and everyone took a breath of cold air. Qin Yun really wants to use the Golden Ape Totem to place a bounty on the heads of the 3 families. You know, the demand for totems is greater for those powerful inscription masters. Even the Dao inscription masters want to collect more totem runes. This Golden Ape Totem is also relatively good. There must be Dao inscription masters who want it. The faces of the disciples and elders of the family forces changed. Qin Yun, don't worry. I will definitely help you contact Elder Fox. Chu Binyu wanted Qin Yun to give up the punishment and temporarily not enter the immortal weapon city. However, Qin Yun is very persistent. The more those family forces don't want him to enter, the more he wants to enter. Qin Yun, you should give up entering the immortal weapon city. A guy like you is not worthy of being with us. A family disciple shouted. You are the enemy of our long family. We must not let you enter the immortal weapon city. Many of our young family members have been killed by you. If you enter the immortal weapon city, you will definitely pose a threat to us. Qin Yun, you will be burned for 7 days like this. Even if you don't die, you will be seriously injured and you will not be able to recover for decades. The people of those family forces are threatening Qin Yun to give up entering the immortal weapon city. You bastards, don't even think about succeeding. Qin Yun's angry roar came out. Villa Master, help me write down the names of these old fellows. Writing down their names is obviously going to put a bounty on them. If they use the golden ape totem as a bounty, they will definitely be in great danger. This forced the elders to withdraw their power, and if they continue, Qin Yun will be burned to death. If they do too much, the other party will definitely use this matter to deal with them. The flame suddenly weakened a lot. Qin Yun also revealed his upper body, but the flame is still very fierce. Only those family disciples are still injecting energy to strengthen the flame. At that instant, an adorable young lady with a slender figure and an elegant beauty walked toward them with a bottle in her hand. Seeing the girl coming, many young men are excited. Isn't this Lu Jingmeng? What is she doing here? So beautiful and cute, I really want to touch her face. She is really beautiful like a fairy, and she is also a Xian inscription master of the spirit martial realm. She is talented. Seeing Lu Jingmeng coming, everyone was amazed. Those family disciples also smiled, and looked at Lu Jingmeng who was walking over. Junior sister, why are you frowning? What happened? Senior brother will help you solve it. What's the matter? Tell me, I will help you. Junior sister, don't be unhappy. If you need help, just say it. The group of family disciples also know that Lu Jingmeng is very simple and naive, so they all show hypocritical smiles and say hypocritical words. They all want to capture Lu Jingmeng's heart, because as long as they marry such a talented girl, they can struggle for many years. Really? Can you help me? Lu Jingmeng hugged the bottle and asked quickly with a smile on her face. You say, what can I do? Asked a young man. The flame here is too strong. Can you make the flame a little smaller? Lu Jingmeng pointed to the immortal fire pool, frowned slightly and asked in a low voice. The group of family disciples suddenly became dumbfounded. Lu Jingmeng suddenly came here and actually wanted to help Qin Yun. We are refining weapons, it is more important, so we can't do it. A young man, seeing the elder's face, said quickly. Other family disciples also could not do it, because it is very important to prevent Qin Yun from entering the immortal weapon city. Lu Jingmeng snorted softly and whispered angrily, a group of liars. You said you can help me, but you can't do it. As long as you don't refine weapons, isn't it all right? She did not know that this group of people was targeting Qin Yun and really thought that they were refining weapons. You are all liars. I will never pay attention to you again. Lu Jingmeng snorted softly, then leaped lightly and swept to the immortal fire pool. Chapter 569. Warm Immortal Duwen. He was in the Divine Inscription Palace. Qin Yun helped Lu Jingmeng and her grandfather to defeat Long Yuetao and his son. Everyone had heard of this matter. Lu Jingmeng is so simple. Now that she knows that Qin Yun is being punished here, it is normal to care about him. What people didn't expect is that Lu Jingmeng is not afraid of the flame and flew in directly. You stop quickly. Lu Jingmeng is in the Lawkeeper Hall. If anything happens to her, even if you die 10 times, you will not be able to quell the anger of the Lawkeeper Hall. Chu Binyu said coldly. The elders of the family forces also quickly told the disciples to stop. They are all very clear about the importance of Lu Jingming to the Lawkeeper Hall. Lu Jingming saw that the flame inside weakened and also showed a happy smile. Qin Yun, who was hung, suddenly felt a lot more comfortable. The black flame wrapped around his body gradually faded, and he was still wearing a pair of ragged pants. Young Master Qin. Lu Jingming saw Qin Yun like this and shouted with a distressed face. Miss Lu, what are you doing here? It's very hot here, you should go out quickly. Qin Yun did not expect this silly girl to come to see him. I'll get you some water to drink. I made some juice, it's very sweet. Lu Jingming quickly took out a cup and poured a cup of juice from the bottle in her hand. But as soon as the juice was poured out, it evaporated into mist. Where is the juice? Lu Jingming said and continued to pour. Several times in a row, the small bottle of juice was evaporated. Qin Yun laughed involuntarily. It's too hot here. The juice disappeared as soon as it came out. Lu Jingming is very annoyed, her cute little face is full of guilt and said, Young Master Qin, I'm sorry, I'm too stupid to protect the juice. It's okay. I appreciate your kindness, thank you. Qin Yun smiled. Lu Jingming is not afraid of the immortal fire here, she doesn't feel hot, so she didn't expect the juice to evaporate. Many people are secretly jealous of Qin Yun. He can actually let Lu Jingming personally deliver the juice. Young Master Qin, you are hurt. Lu Jingming frowned in distress. Qin Yun's dry upper body, the skin is cracking and falling, it is very scary. I'll be fine soon. You should go back. Qin Yun did not want Lu Jingming to stay in this environment. Lu Jingming did not go back. Instead, she took out a bottle of black ointment and applied it on Qin Yun's body. Qin Yun did not know what kind of ointment it was, but he suddenly felt his body become very cool. This silly girl, she actually wasted a bottle of profound level ointment. A clan elder's eyebrows twitched. That's the Black Yuan profound ointment that can heal injuries very quickly. Lu Jingming had a cheerful smile on her face. She used her small and delicate hands to apply the ointment on Qin Yun's body. She giggled and said, It's as fun as mud. Soon, Qin Yun's body is covered with the black ointment. The pain on Qin Yun's body also gradually disappeared. He felt that his injuries are recovering very quickly. Seeing this scene, the disciples of the clans were extremely jealous, because Lu Jingming is very gentle and considerate to Qin Yun. Soon after, Lu Jingming took out a bottle of water and pointed it at Qin Yun's mouth. She said, Young Master Qin, it's so hot here. Quickly drink some water. This is the immortal dew I collected. It's so precious, I won't drink it. I'll leave it for you to drink. Qin Yun is very grateful to this innocent little girl. This reminded him of Qi Milan, a girl who is almost the same. This is useless to me. Quickly drink it. Lu Jingming pouted and said with some sadness, Am I very annoying? When I was a child, others always found me annoying and didn't play with me. Of course not. Qin Yun smiled and said, You are so concerned about me, I am very grateful to you. Last time you helped me and my grandfather out of trouble and even gave my grandfather great benefits. I also want to thank you. Quickly drink the immortal dew, I will be very happy like this. Lu Jingming saw that Qin Yun is very grateful to her and is very happy. Qin Yun remembered that Lu Jingming has an immortal body. The immortal dew is indeed useless to her. He opened his mouth and drank the refreshing and delicious immortal dew. When everyone saw Qin Yun drinking the immortal dew in big gulps, they secretly swallowed their saliva. Immortal dew, she actually has a big bottle. Where did she get so much immortal dew? This kind of immortal dew is a good thing to refine earth-level pills. She actually gave it to Qin Yun to drink. This prodigal girl, the Lawkeeper Hall is too biased. Why do they give her so many good things? Qin Yun, this bastard, I must cripple him. The eyes of the disciples of the clans turned red with jealousy. They clenched their teeth and wished they could snatch the bottle away. Not long after, Lu Jingming sighed with hidden bitterness. There is too little immortal dew, it's all gone. I will collect more next time and make juice for young Master Lu to drink enough. After drinking a large jar of immortal dew, Qin Yun felt very comfortable and his xian body seemed to have been tempered better. Jingming, thank you, Qin Yun said with a smile. You're welcome. We are friends now. I still have things to do, I have to go back. Also, congratulations on becoming a disciple of Immortal Weapon City. I will be your senior sister in the future. Lu Jingming smiled sweetly and happily. Senior sister, take care. Qin Yun smiled. Lu Jingming flew out of the immortal fire pool, and then rolled her eyes at the family disciples. She snorted and said, You know that young Master Qin is being punished and you deliberately strengthen the flame to make him uncomfortable. You are all bad guys, I hate you. The group of family disciples wanted to say something but they couldn't speak. After Lu Jingming left, the family disciples looked at Qin Yun with anger and jealousy. Continue to burn. The elders of the family forces saw Lu Jingming go away, and quickly shouted. The flame rose again and drowned Qin Yun in it. Chu Binyu saw that Qin Yun still had black plaster on his body, and was relieved. Qin Yun drank the immortal dew, and was wrapped in plaster, so he was not so afraid of the flame. Xiao Yun, Lu Jingming has an immortal body, so she can collect a lot of immortal dew. The so-called immortal dew is just dew with immortal energy, which will help you to a certain extent. Ling Yuner said, This is really a lovely silly girl. Well, the same as little Malian. I don't know how little Malian is now. Qin Yun sighed in his heart and missed Chi Malian very much. Don't worry, she will be fine. She has the protection of the immortal graveyard diagram, and I suspect that she also has an immortal body. Her martial spirit is also very strange. Ling Yuner said. Chi Malian is young and her cultivation is very high. Obviously, because of the immortal graveyard diagram, she had a fortuitous encounter. The same is true for Xiao Yuelon. Continue to temper your xian body and consolidate your tender xian body. Ling Yun continued to guide the immortal fire into Qin Yun's body through the Nether Sun martial spirit. Under the control of Ling Yun, the immortal fire cooperated with Qin Yun to circulate the Star Sun Heart Sutra to temper his body, and the Heavenly Lion Xian body was also a little stable. Yun, what is the difference between the immortal fire here and the one I condensed last time? Qin Yun asked curiously. The immortal fire here is relatively weak. It just carries a little immortal energy and most of it is still absorbing 9 sun spirit energy to burn. Ling Yuner said, The immortal fire I helped you condense last time was condensed with pure immortal energy, it is very different. In order to prevent Qin Yun from entering the Immortal Weapon City, those family forces are also fighting hard. Because they are very clear that with Qin Yun's talent, once he enters the immortal sect, it will not take long for him to step into the spirit martial realm. If he becomes a Xian inscription master, it is not something they can shake. At present, the Lawkeeper Hall has not personally come out to receive Qin Yun. Obviously, they also feel that Qin Yun's talent is not enough to become a disciple of the Lawkeeper Hall. If Qin Yun steps into the spirit martial realm, it is hard to say. At that time, even if Qin Yun can't enter the Lawkeeper Hall, he can get a lot of resources. On the side of the family forces, although there are many disciples with good qualifications but compared to Qin Yun, they are much worse. According to various sources, they can determine that Qin Yun has a black martial spirit and totem rune. The only shortcoming is that he only has one spirit vein. However, one spirit vein does not seem to have any effect on Qin Yun, which is also very strange. A few days passed and the family disciples kept injecting energy into the immortal fire pool every day to strengthen the flame to burn Qin Yun. Now, the 7 days were about to pass. However, Qin Yun does not seem to retreat and can still persist. No matter how the flame is enhanced, Qin Yun is unmoved and does not give up the idea of entering the immortal weapon city. Qin Yun, 7 days have passed. In these 7 days, your body must have been ravaged. Even if you enter the immortal weapon city, you can't recover to the peak in a few years. An old man of the Long family sneered. You are such a scum, you can't set off any big waves in the immortal weapon city. Many people are regretful. Qin Yun was burned by this level of flame for a few days. Even if he could survive, his body would definitely be greatly damaged, and he would certainly be no different from a mummy. Lu Jingmeng has not been here in the past few days. She should know that you have no future, so she did not come. Ha ha, Qin Yun, even Lu Jingmeng, this stupid girl, knows that you are hopeless. Qin Yun, you look like a mummy at this time, it will definitely scare her. Really, Lu Jingmeng is really a fool. She actually wasted black yuan xian ointment and a bottle of immortal dew on him. The disciples of the various families couldn't help but laugh out loud as they watched the raging flames. Time is up. After Chu Binyu calculated the time, he quickly flew in and brought out Qin Yun, who was hung in the middle. After Qin Yun was brought out, his entire body was emitting hot air. His upper body was covered in curvaceous and well-built muscles. Steam was surging out of them. The outer sect disciples watching in the distance saw that Qin Yun still maintained a beautiful and strong muscle and were shocked. The family disciples who thought that Qin Yun had become a mummy were speechless, as if they had been slapped in the face. Sorry to let you down. Qin Yun smiled. Chu Binyu also entered the middle of the immortal fire pool and put away the chain. Chapter 570. 570 Chapter 570 Martial Arts Struggle. Qin Yun also knows that in the immortal weapon city, there are strict laws. As long as it is violated, the consequences are very serious. At this time, the family disciples suddenly attacked him, obviously violating the rules of the immortal weapon city. Those few disciples' attacks are all very fierce. They attacked Qin Yun's vital points. Qin Yun's heart has long been very angry. Now being attacked like this, he also fought back fiercely. Boom, boom, boom. Many palms hit the attacking family disciples. All of them vomited blood. The disciple who was hit by Qin Yun, the internal body of the body burst into a crackling sound and all the bones were broken by Qin Yun. Qin Yun, you are so ruthless. Later, there were several spirit martial realm disciples who attacked Qin Yun fiercely. You attacked me first. Qin Yun was angry and anxious. He was obviously attacked ferociously, but he was said to be ruthless. Chu Binyu also quickly turned back. Qin Yun and the 2 spirit martial realm disciples also exchanged a few blows and were separated by Chu Binyu. At the same time, suddenly 2 black-robed middle-aged men flew over. They looked at the injured family disciples and their faces were gloomy. Inside the immortal weapon palace, it is not allowed to fight. You have all violated the rules. A middle-aged man looked at Qin Yun coldly and said, These 2 black-robed men are the people of the Lawkeeper Hall. 2 brothers, our disciples just want to compare notes with Qin Yun. I didn't know that he was so ruthless and directly shattered their bones. A family elder also quickly came out and explained. Don't argue, what happened here, we can see it through the spirit eye. A black-robed man said, Fighting in the palace, you will be imprisoned for 3 years. 2 seniors, I am just defending myself. Qin Yun said quickly. With your strength, you can escape and don't need to fight back. A big man said with a cold face. If you run away, don't do any counterattack, don't fight, then you will have nothing to do. Qin Yun glanced at the elders of the family forces and cursed a few words in his heart. Even Chu Binyu did not dare to confront the Lawkeeper Hall and could only watch Qin Yun being taken away. Everyone sighed. Qin Yun had been burned at the stake for 7 days. Originally, he was fine, but he had violated the sex rules and was imprisoned for 3 years. Being locked up for 3 years was equivalent to wasting 3 years of time. Qin Yun, a few Spirit Martial Realm family disciples, and more than a dozen ninth-level Martial Dao disciples were taken to a dungeon. Everyone had their own cage. Opposite Qin Yun was the prison cell of the two family clan disciples. The cell was very narrow. It was a narrow square room that was only 2 meters wide. A special iron fence was the cell door, allowing people to clearly see the situation inside. "You're really willing to sacrifice a few disciples to keep me locked up for 3 years. Qin Yun looked at the azure-clothed man opposite him and said with a sneer, "You are all at the Spirit Martial Realm. You have been locked up for 3 years and have missed a lot of time. Is it worth it? Qin Yun, after we leave, the clan will compensate us. But you're different? Who will make it up to you? The saber-sword villa behind you?" Qin Yun said with sneer, "I don't need others to compensate me. I can also cultivate here. With just your spirit vein? You can absorb the spiritual energy from above? What a joke." The azure-clothed man sneered, "Qin Yun, wasting 3 years of your time can make you miss the martial arts tournament. You don't know how powerful this martial arts tournament is. It is the grandest martial arts competition in the proud Star State. It will gather many outstanding Spirit Martial Realm and 9th-level Martial Dao to compete. Once you get a good ranking, you can obtain a Divine Ability Inheritance or a Tian-tier martial art. This is the responsibility of the Divine Inscription Palace. You must not participate." When Qin Yun heard the words of the two disciples, he became even more furious. It should not be difficult for him to escape from this cage. He was afraid that after he escaped, he would not be able to enter the Immortal Weapon City again. He could only blame his bad luck for encountering such a thing. Qin Yun, who was in prison, was not idle. He took out a saber and practiced the common saber technique in a narrow place. He wanted to spend 3 years here, so he planned to practice the common saber technique and master the essence of the common saber technique. For Qin Yun, 3 years is still relatively long. His original plan has also been disrupted. What he can do now is to stabilize his foundation so that when he breaks through to the Spirit Martial Realm, it will be more smooth. After Qin Yun was imprisoned for 2 or 3 days, everyone in the Immortal Weapon City knew about it. The people of Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain originally wanted to find trouble with Qin Yun. However, after learning about this, they could only wait for 3 years before going. The martial arts tournament will also be held in 10 months. Qin Yun did not have time to participate in the martial arts tournament, which made many people relieved. Because with Qin Yun's strength, he can dominate the 9th-level Martial Dao realm. Many sects and families do not want a monster like Qin Yun to participate. Today, in front of the gate of the Immortal Weapon Palace, the spacious square is very lively. Because today is a very special day. Legend has it that a long time ago, a sect master of the Immortal Weapon City, because his disciple lost to his junior brother's disciple, he also resigned from the position of sect master and let his junior brother take over. However, he was very dissatisfied, so every 1,000 years, he would come back. And he brought a few outstanding young disciples that he had cultivated to challenge the young disciples of the Immortal Weapon City. It is said that in addition to the martial arts competition, there will also be an inscription competition. The Immortal Weapon City will fight every time and they will win. Because once the Immortal Weapon City loses, they have to hand over the mysterious immortal tool of the Immortal Weapon City to the sect master. Now, the former sect master very punctually brought his disciples to the entrance of the Immortal Weapon Palace. As long as the elders are familiar with the Immortal Weapon City, they are very clear about this matter. Therefore, every time at this time, they will also come here in advance to watch the battle. In this way, they can also see the level of the disciples of the Immortal Weapon City. At the entrance of the Immortal Weapon Palace, there are several old men in black robes. Everyone knows that in the Immortal Weapon Palace, The old men in black robes are from the Law-Keeper Hall. However, Lu Jingmeng is an exception. She is wearing a simple white dress and hiding behind an old lady with some shyness. Because around this huge square there are many people watching. Here, most of them are strangers that Lu Jingmeng is not familiar with. Lu Jingmeng is just afraid of strangers. In the Immortal Weapon Palace, she often sees her fellow brothers and sisters. After a long time, she is not afraid. Many of the new young generation also saw the former sect master of the Immortal Weapon City. It is a burly old man, wearing a coarse gray robe, gray disheveled hair, fluttering in the wind. His deep old eyes projected a sharp light as he stared at Lu Jingmeng. He looked at Lu Jingmeng with a smile on his face and said, "This is the talented Lu Jingmeng? By the way, why didn't your sect master come out?" "The sect master is in seclusion, it is not convenient to come out." "Ing Qingyu, another 1,000 years have passed, I didn't expect you to still be alive." The old lady smiled. "I can't die if I don't win you once." Ing Qingyu's hearty laughter echoed in the air, full of energy, faintly revealing a very fierce power. "It's a pity that I can't see your sect master. I really want to see his expression when he loses." Ing Qingyu laughed. "It doesn't matter if he doesn't come as long as I win, you give me that immortal tool." "Ing Qingyu, there is one thing to tell you. Our old sect master is dead. The current new sect master doesn't like to participate in this matter, so he went into seclusion in advance." The old lady's words caused an uproar among the people present. Among the people who came to watch the battle today, there are also people from other immortal sects or Star Palace. They are all old guys and they are very familiar with the old sect master of Immortal Weapon City. They did not expect that the powerful old sect master is actually dead. How did he die? Ing Qingyu's face suddenly became a little sad. His eyes are full of melancholy. "He died naturally." The old lady sighed softly. There are also many old people who have lived for many years. They heard these words and trembled. An inexplicable fear welled up in their hearts. Because even the powerful old sect master of Immortal Weapon City could not escape the fate of the end of his lifespan. Many people practiced martial arts not only for the sake of the strongest power, but more importantly, to pursue eternal life. Ing Qingyu looked up to the sky and sighed. "Well, since he is dead, this is the last time I challenge Immortal Weapon City." It can be seen that Ing Qingyu does not have much resentment towards Immortal Weapon City. He is just holding his breath. And for many years, the young disciples he has cultivated have been unable to defeat the disciples of Immortal Weapon City. But this time, he is very confident in his disciples. They can defeat the young disciples of Immortal Weapon City. "Ing Qingyu, is it still the old rules?" the old lady asked. "I've brought 3 disciples with me, and they're experts in 3 different domains: talisman making, tool refining, totem carving." Ing Qingyu put away his sad mood and looked at the 3 tall, thin and quite handsome young men behind him. These 3 young men, because they are young geniuses, the arrogance in their hearts is not concealed, it is all written on their faces. "Carved totem runes?" The old lady of Immortal Weapon City frowned. "Yes. We haven't competed before, this time let's compete." "Why, you don't dare." Ing Qingyu's old face flashed a hint of pride. "Of course we dare." The old lady smiled. "Let's start now. We will only send 1 person here for the time being." Ing Qingyu looked at Lu Jingmeng and said with a smile, "I have investigated your situation, it seems that only this little girl can be taken out. By the way, the guy named Qin Yun, he carves totem runes very well, don't you let him out? He violated our sect rules, and was imprisoned for 3 years. The old lady said coldly. Qin Yun's imprisonment is also well known. Chapter 571 571 Chapter 571 Granny Ing Qingyu took out some materials and said, "The first game is to compete in talisman making. The talisman paper is refined from animal skin and the production is Xian Thunder Talisman. After the production, use the Thunder Storage Pearl to absorb the energy of the Thunder Talisman and then weigh it. You can know who produced a high-grade Thunder Talisman. 3 games, best of 3. Ing Qingyu smiled confidently. This time we will win. The apprentice behind him is not only confident but also full of cold arrogance. The instruments used in the competition are uniform. Lu Jingming saw the tools of talisman making and did not seem to be nervous. 2 hours of time. Ing Qingyu said. Immortal Weapon City also has no opinion, they just check the various instruments to prevent the other party from cheating. The competition began. As soon as Lu Jingming entered the state, she became very serious and not affected by the outside world. This state also made Ing Qingyu nod and praise. The old sect master died. Why is it so mysterious? Is it because the new sect master is too weak and worried that others will retaliate? Ing Qingyu looked at the black-robed people and asked. No. The black-robed old granny said. If your new sect master is not good, I can go back and take over. Ing Qingyu laughed. With my current strength, I am definitely in the top 3 of the 5 great immortal sects. Don't bother you. A black-robed old man said solemnly. Whatever you want, anyway, Immortal Weapon City should be dying soon. Ing Qingyu laughed. The disciple you sent this time is only a little girl. If it was before, there would be several. Meng Meng alone can beat your 3 apprentices, the old granny said very confidently. Don't be so absolute. Ing Qingyu laughed. My 3 apprentices are only 30 years old and they are spirit martial realm and they are all Xian inscription master level. After the tens of thousands of people in the square heard this, there was a sudden commotion full of shock. Spirit martial realm Xian inscription master around 30 years old is indeed very rare. It is no wonder that Ing Qingyu is so confident. Soon 4 hours had passed. Lu Jingmeng completed it ahead of time. The violent Thunder Xian talisman that she refined is extremely powerful. After throwing it out, a large electric snake was shot out and poured into a Thunder Storage Pearl. Although the violent Thunder Xian talisman, refined by Ing Qingyu's apprentice, is also very strong, it does not look as powerful as Lu Jingming's. Finally, he weighed the 2 lightning storing pearls. Lu Jingming's thunder accumulation bead was 0.5 kilogram heavier than her opponent's. It could be said that she was in the lead. Ing Qingyu lost. His face is a bit ugly, but in order to ensure fairness, he also let Lu Jingming rest. And then the second game. I have to say, this little girl is really amazing. She's not even 20 years old, but she already has this level of skill. Many old Xian inscription masters are not even as good as her. I guess they are very ashamed. Ing Qingyu sighed. Mu Feng, West Wind Baldi and Chu Binyu were also watching. They all felt that they were not as good as Lu Jingming. It's nothing, talents are coming out in large numbers. This is a good thing for our inscription palace. Mu Feng did not mind at all. He said with a smile, a young and promising Xian inscription master like him is the gospel of the inscription world. Many of the old Xian inscription masters present also agreed with what Mu Feng said. Ing Qingyu snorted. After Lu Jingming rested, the second game began. This second game is about refining tools. Refining a low-grade Xian tool. They all refine a saber and then use a tool to test the strength of the blade. If the strength is high enough, they will be the winner. It takes a long time to refine a Xian tool, it takes more than half a day. For some of the more general Xian inscription masters, it takes more than half a day to refine a Xian saber. It can't be used at all. It's not even as good as a royal-grade spirit tool. Refining this kind of thing is not something that can be rushed. However, for some genius Xian inscription masters, in a very short period of time, they can also refine a very good Xian tool. The competition went on until late at night and it was almost over. Under the control of several old men, several large luminous stones floated in the air, illuminating the square. The onlookers are also waiting patiently. They all want to see if Immortal Weapon City will lose their most precious immortal tool in the end. Time is up. Lu Jingmeng and Ying Qingyu's disciple can successfully complete. Then began to test the strength. Through the instrument test, Lu Jingmeng refined a saber, the strength is 18. And Ying Qingyu's disciple refined a saber, the strength is 19. Haha, we won a game. As long as we can win the next game, Immortal Weapon City will lose to me. Ying Qingyu is very happy and laughed. It seems that the final victory is in front of him. Lu Jingmeng lost the competition by a small gap. She is very guilty and lowered her head, not daring to look at the black-robed old lady behind her. Meng, don't worry, just win the next game. Your totem rune carving is also very good, you will definitely win. Although the old lady said so, she is also a little anxious. If Lu Jingmeng still loses, then their most powerful immortal tool will be handed over to Ying Qingyu. Granny Ma, can you let Qin Gongzi come out for the last game? His totem rune carving is very good. He will definitely win. Lu Jingmeng whispered. Next to her, Chu Binyu also saw the opportunity and quickly walked over and said, Granny Ma, Qin Yun defeated Long Yuetao when he was carving totem rune. This is an indisputable fact, and the precision of his totem rune carving is extremely high. Ying Qingyu quickly said, We are not competing on the precision of the totem rune, but to carve the totem rune on the puppet and then let the two puppets fight. Only when the puppets win can they win. Granny Ma, Qin Yun has mastered the golden ape totem. It is very suitable to make a puppet. Chu Binyu said again. At this time, the bald old man also came over and said, Granny Ma, Meng is my granddaughter and I often guide her on inscription knowledge, so I am very clear that she is far inferior to Qin Yun in totem rune. Ying Qingyu is obviously prepared. With Meng's level, I am afraid it will be difficult to win. The bald old man is also because of Qin Yun, so he can open a branch in the northern district. Let him get a lot of benefits. Naturally he wants to help Qin Yun. Well, I will go find him now. In order to win, Granny Ma can only make an exception and let Qin Yun leave the cage. Qin Yun in the cage, very diligently practiced chopping saber. Those are the moves of the common saber technique. Qin Yun, are you annoying? Practicing this kind of three-legged cat saber technique all day long. Yes, what is the use of this broken saber technique? It is full of flaws. Stop, I'm getting annoyed just looking at you. The disciples of the various families scolded loudly. Qin Yun ignored them. He continued to practice the various saber techniques of the common saber technique. At this time, Granny Ma came in with a few people. Seeing Granny Ma, everyone got up and slightly bowed their heads to salute. Granny Ma is here. She is one of the 5 great protectors of the Lawkeeper Hall, Vermilion Bird Protector. An old man whispered to Qin Yun. Qin Yun quickly put away his saber and looked at Granny Ma. Granny Ma came to Qin Yun with a cold face and said, Qin Yun, there is one thing I need you to do. If you complete it well, I will reduce your sentence by 1 year. What is it? Qin Yun was happy and quickly asked, Tell me first. After others heard it, they couldn't believe it. This kind of reduction of sentence in the Lawkeeper Hall had never happened before. The punishment of the Lawkeeper Hall has always been ruthless and merciless. 3 years of detention will not be reduced in any case. And now, in order to get Qin Yun's help, she can actually reduce her sentence by 1 year. The family disciples were all shocked and looked at Granny Ma. Our Immortal Weapon City is facing a competition and we need a master who can carve totem runes. If you can win, you can reduce your sentence by 1 year. Granny Ma's voice was cold and ruthless. Qin Yun said lightly, What do you mean? Do you agree or not? Granny Ma was slightly angry. If I win, you will let me go and I will promise you. Qin Yun said. A disciple of the Long family in the cage shouted. Qin Yun, you have to respect the Vermilion Bird Protector. Giving you a 1-year exemption is already unprecedented, Qin Yun said with a smile. It turned out to be an exception to reduce my sentence? Forget it, let me continue to be imprisoned for 3 years. Don't break the rules of the Lawkeeper Hall. The inhumane Lawkeeper Hall, in order to invite Qin Yun out to compete, made an exception to reduce the sentence. It is obviously a very important competition. Qin Yun knew that if he lost the competition, it would be a great loss to the Immortal Weapon City. Now that the Lawkeeper Hall is asking him for help, it is too stingy to reduce the sentence by 1 year. If you win, reduce the sentence by 2 years. Granny Ma endured her anger and said again. Qin Yun sat on the ground and did not speak. He said with a smile, "Although this cage is a little small, I feel very comfortable. I have met many enemies outside, and it seems good to hide here for 3 years. Qin Yun, you have made a mistake. Our Lawkeeper Hall must punish you appropriately. If we do nothing, then where is the dignity of our Lawkeeper Hall?" Granny Ma said with a cold face. The family disciples originally wanted to say a few words, but when they saw how terrible Granny Ma was, they did not dare to say anything. They just looked at Qin Yun with schadenfreude. The people in this dungeon also felt that Qin Yun was finished. He dared to provoke Granny Ma. "Yes, no one is an exception, so I am willing to go to prison for 3 years," Qin Yun said with a smile. "Granny Ma, you still have to find someone else." Granny Ma did not expect that Qin Yun would actually bargain with her. You know, it is very rare for the Lawkeeper Hall to make such a concession and reduce the sentence by 2 years. "What do you want? Reduce the sentence by 3 years?" Granny Ma said coldly. "I didn't say to reduce the sentence by 3 years. Qin Yun spread his hands. "I really don't want to break the rules of the Lawkeeper Hall, so you don't need to make an exception for me." Chapter 572. Commutation of Sentence. Granny Ma shouted at the cage behind her. "Shut up!" That family disciple was also scared witless by this shout, his face pale with fright. Granny Ma looked at the calm and composed Qin Yun and asked coldly, "What do you want? 3 years reduction? That was impossible. Since you're involved in a private fight, then. Don't talk any more, I want to sleep." Qin Yun lied on the ground, turned over and fell asleep. Granny Ma is very angry, she wants to grab Qin Yun and beat him up. Qin Yun is now certain that the competition that Granny Ma came to find him for is extremely important. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come here while suppressing his anger, and he wouldn't have made an exception to reduce his sentence. "Qin Yun, don't be too complacent," Granny Ma shouted. "Half a year. Only half a year, that should be fine, right?" After all, she was from the Lawkeeper Hall. She had to respect the rules, because it was very rare to get an exception to reduce the sentence. If Qin Yun was acquitted, it would be a complete violation of the sex rules. Those old fogies in the Lawkeeper Hall would never accept such a thing. Qin Yun continued lying on the ground without making a sound. He didn't want to stay here for another day, let alone half a year. "Granny Ma, please find someone else. Because I suddenly found that I like this dungeon. Lying here for 3 years is nothing." Qin Yun lay on the ground with his legs crossed and chuckled. How could Granny Ma not see that Qin Yun did it on purpose? It was all for the sake of fighting for the greatest benefit. She secretly blamed herself for not being tactful enough and not being steady enough. She let Qin Yun see that this matter was very important, so she was led along. If she had behaved calmly from the beginning, she might have succeeded long ago. Of course, Qin Yun's Tao spirit Demonis Yun is not to be trifled with. Now Ling Yun taught Qin Yun how to control himself, because in the present situation, as long as he could endure it, Qin Yun could set any conditions he wanted. Granny Ma looked at Qin Yun with an extremely gloomy expression. She has long heard of Qin Yun's deeds. Now, after interacting with Qin Yun, she finally understood. Why was Qin Yun able to live until now after causing so much trouble? You want to be exempted from punishment, right? Granny Ma said coldly. All right, then I will reduce your punishment. I will only lock you up for 2 days. You've been locked up here for a few days, haven't you? In this way, he still received a certain amount of punishment. But the prerequisite is that you must win this competition in order to receive a reduced sentence. Seeing Granny Ma submit, the family disciples were all surprised and jealous. They didn't understand how important that competition was. He actually made Granny Ma make such a big concession. The family faction had sacrificed their disciples to accompany Qin Yun in prison because they did not want Qin Yun to participate in the martial arts tournament. But now, this plan was about to fail. All the family disciples here want to cry but have no tears because Qin Yun will be able to leave very soon. I agree to participate in the competition, but whether I win or lose, you must exempt me from punishment. Qin Yun said. If you don't agree, then next time we talk, I will increase my requirements. Delusion. Granny Ma said. Then forget it, please go back. If you still want me to go out and compete, I will state my conditions. Qin Yun smiled with a proud look on his face. Those family disciples wanted to fan the flames and let Granny Ma teach Qin Yun a lesson, but they did not dare to speak. Granny Ma is temperamental. This is also a well-known matter. But now in front of Qin Yun, she seems so weak. Granny Ma gritted her teeth, and it seems that she can't suppress the anger in her heart. Okay, then you will stay here for 3 years. She snorted angrily and turned to leave. Granny Ma really left. The dungeon also returned to silence. The long family disciple laughed and said, Qin Yun, you are finished. You have angered Granny Ma. Don't think about staying in a mortal weapon city in the future. Qin Yun, you son of a bitch, you are really stupid. You actually gave up such a good opportunity and even provoked Granny Ma. You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Another family disciple sneered and said, You will definitely be watched by the Lawkeeper Hall in the future. As long as you cause any trouble, you will definitely be arrested. Just as those disciples were making irresponsible remarks to Qin Yun, Granny Ma came back again. The people in the dungeon saw Granny Ma come back, and they were all dumbfounded. Granny Ma just left in anger and now she came back, obviously to compromise with Qin Yun. That competition is really very important, because among the disciples of the entire Immortal Weapon City, only Qin Yun can go out and defeat Ying Qingyu's disciple. If the Immortal Weapon City loses in this competition, it means that they have to give up the Immortal Tool. How precious is the Immortal Tool, so no matter what, they must keep the Immortal Tool. Qin Yun, as long as you participate in the competition, regardless of winning or losing, I will immediately let you go. Granny Ma's tone is very flat, not as aggressive as before. I want to make a condition. Qin Yun smiled and got up from the ground and patted the dust on his body. You say, don't go too far. Granny Ma said. Those family disciples are bleeding with jealousy in their hearts. They now understand the importance of strong inscription talent. Even Granny Ma of the Lawkeeper Hall is so humble. I want to beat them up. Qin Yun pointed to the family disciples in the cages opposite. They are all spirit martial realm martial masters. Qin Yun, you bastard, don't be delusional. Granny Ma is fair and will never agree to this kind of thing. Granny Ma, don't agree to such a despicable person as Qin Yun. Shameless guy, you are forcing Granny Ma to do unjust things. Granny Ma is perceptive and selfless. Don't give in to Qin Yun, this despicable and shameless villain. Those family disciples suddenly shouted and screamed like a dog whose tail was stepped on. Granny Ma said coldly, Qin Yun, don't kill them. Hearing Granny Ma's words, those family disciples, one by one, their faces turned ashen and they screamed. Granny Ma opened the door of Qin Yun's cell. Qin Yun rubbed his hands and walked out with a smile on his face. Then, Granny Ma opened the door of a family disciple's cell and said to the family disciple with a cold face, "Don't resist, let Qin Yun beat. If you dare to resist, you will be locked up for another 10 years. Granny Ma, you can't do this!" The disciple screamed. "This is my territory, I can do whatever I want, and this is also a punishment for you. You deliberately provoked Qin Yun, it was premeditated and your behavior is very bad, that's why I increased your punishment." Granny Ma smiled coldly. "This reason of mine should be enough, right?" Qin Yun walked into the cage and punched the Long family disciple in the face. He said with a smile, "Granny Ma is really wise. I will punish them well." Boom boom boom. Pa pa pa. Qin Yun's fists and palms alternated as he madly beat the disciple back and forth, causing the Long family disciple to scream like a pig being slaughtered. The other family disciples nearby trembled in fear when they heard the blood-curdling screams. "Qin Yun, have some sense of propriety. Don't cripple them, otherwise I won't be able to explain." Granny Ma slightly frowned. "Rest assured, I have the most experience in this kind of thing," Qin Yun said with a smile, and continued to beat the disciple. After a while, the disciple was beaten until he looked like a pig's head, lying on the ground and crying. Qin Yun looked at the next cage and said with a smile, "Is it fun to watch? It's your turn." The disciple in the cage is from the Yang family. When he saw Granny Ma open the cell door, he immediately cried and begged Qin Yun, "Brother Qin Yun, Uncle Qin Yun, don't beat me, spare me this time." Qin Yun did not buy this trick. He was just scolded by this group of guys. "When I was hung in the immortal fire pool, you set fire to me and burned me so happily. Of course, I have to repay this kindness," Qin Yun said with a smile and beat the man. They did not dare to fight back. If they did, they would be imprisoned for 10 years. One must know that in this dungeon, except for the people of the Lawkeeper Hall, no one can visit. Therefore, it is difficult to spread what happened here. Only those disciples who have been imprisoned for 3 years can talk to their elders about this matter. Half an hour later, the family disciples in the cages were all beaten by Qin Yun and suffered a lot. When they saw Qin Yun smile at this time, there was a fear in their hearts. "You guys originally wanted to trap me for 3 years, but now I am free and you have to continue to be imprisoned, ha ha." Qin Yun laughed loudly and followed Granny Ma out of the dungeon. After Qin Yun was taken out by Granny Ma, he was stuffed into a car and then threw a set of clothes to him. "Put it on, this is the clothes of our immortal weapon city." It is a set of beautiful blue clothes with good workmanship. After Qin Yun put it on, after some combing, he became very spirited and full of vitality, making him look more handsome and unrestrained. "This is your identity card." Granny Ma handed Qin Yun a jade card. "Drip blood." After Qin Yun dripped blood, he smiled and said, "From today on, I am a part of Immortal Weapon City." Humph! Granny Ma snorted. She did not know what kind of trouble this Immortal Weapon Palace will be caused by this kid in the future. Qin Yun whistled cheerfully and followed Granny Ma, and flew outside the Immortal Weapon Palace. Chu Binyu and others saw Qin Yun with a cheerful smile on his face, and were completely relieved. The elders of the family forces are gnashing their teeth. "Granny Ma, Qin Yun violated the rules of the sect because of a private fight and will be imprisoned for 3 years. After the competition, let him go back to the dungeon." An old man came over and said, "Qin Yun has mastered the supreme inscription technique. He came out to protect the honor of our immortal weapon city. It is also considered as a meritorious service, so I reduced his sentence and only detained him for 2 days." Granny Ma said coldly, "Everyone knows that Qin Yun stayed in the dungeon for 2 or 3 days, which means that after the competition, he will be free." "Granny Ma, the rules can't be broken." An old man is very dissatisfied and quickly shouted. Chapter 573. 573 Chapter 573 An important contest. After the elders of the family forces heard this, they were all shocked. As long as Qin Yun's sentence is reduced, he is willing to compete. If you want to continue to imprison him, go and find me a good young disciple to carve totem runes. If the disciple you find can't win and lose the immortal tool, you will break your own arm. If you can't do it, get out of my way and shut your stinky mouth. Granny Ma's eyes emitted a cold light and her voice was slightly angry. The elders of the family forces did not dare to speak and could only obediently retreat. Qin Yun knows that this competition is very important, but it is much more important than he imagined. Because if he loses, not only will he lose an immortal tool, but he will also let the Lawkeeper Hall people break their own arm. His mother, if I knew it, I would have opened my mouth like a lion and mercilessly drained them. Ling Yun shouted very painfully. Qin Yun also felt the same way. If he knew that the consequences of losing were so serious, he should have said a very excessive condition. Qingyu saw Qin Yun coming and smiled slightly. Interesting, interesting. You are only Martial Dao 9th level and you dare to come out to participate in this kind of competition. You really have confidence. I know the rules of the competition. When can we start? Qin Yun asked calmly. We can start right away. Qingyu said and took out more than a dozen puppets, some humanoid and some beast-shaped puppet. Although Qingyu's apprentice looks tall and thin, his aura is very strong. After all, he is a spirit martial realm martial master and his body exudes a relatively pure aura of flame energy. Qin Yun sensed the flame aura and his heart was secretly shocked. Peng Wang, you choose a puppet to carve totem runes on. Qingyu let his apprentice choose first. Granny Ma suddenly shouted, Wait, I want to check. When checking, she asked Mu Feng, the bald man and Chu Binyu to come over and check the blank puppets together. At this time, the blank puppets are all refined. As long as the totem runes are carved on it, it can be used. Qin Yun looked at the material and knew that it is a Xian-level material. He felt that with his own strength, it is not difficult to carve totem runes. The difficult thing is whether he can win in the end. This was because the test of the totem carvings did not only look at the fineness of the totem carvings, but also the puppet's strength. These puppets are all about the same. The only difference is that there are two types of puppets, human and beast. Mu Feng said to Qin Yun after inspecting them. Chu Binyu and the bald man also nodded. Young Master Qin, what kind of puppet do you want to refine? Lu Jingmeng came behind Qin Yun and asked softly. I don't know yet. Qin Yun is also considering. Even if he lost, he wouldn't be imprisoned any longer. However, he also wanted to win the competition. This was a great opportunity for him to display his strength. These puppets were prepared by Qingyu. As his apprentice, Peng Wang must be very clear about puppet. He must have practiced it repeatedly before. Peng Wang immediately chose the beast-shaped puppet. Qin Yun thought for a moment and also chose a beast-shaped puppet. It looked like a tiger-shaped puppet. Its entire body was black and it was refined using a lot of Xian Yuan steel. Qin Yun, I heard that your totem is the golden ape totem. It is better to use it to refine a humanoid puppet. Qingyu said with some surprise. Senior, I am going to use the golden ape totem to reward the heads of the three patriarchs of the proud star state, Yang family and Long family. If the senior wants to get the golden ape totem, just take their heads and send them to me. Qin Yun laughed. This matter has been spread long ago. Qin Yun was in the immortal fire pool, but he was bullied by those family forces, so he used this way to retaliate. Now, when they heard Qin Yun personally say it, everyone was surprised to talk about it. The people of the family forces present are full of anger. Qin Yun's ancient Dao tool was taken away by the people of Medicine Immortal Valley. Everyone thought that he could no longer put up a bounty for those patriarchs. Now, the golden ape totem he threw out is even more attractive. Golden ape totem, it is a good totem. If there is no totem Xian inscription master, they should find a way to get it. Qingyu smiled. The patriarchs of the Long family, Yang family and Tian family have to be very careful when they go out. Qin Yun was taken away by the medicine Immortal Valley, which has always made him upset. Although those Dao tools are not very important to him, they are very precious things. It is equivalent to having a large amount of wealth taken away by the medicine Immortal Valley. He will definitely settle this account with the medicine Immortal Valley. Qin Yun also wants to put up a bounty for the head of the medicine Immortal Valley, but the golden ape totem is far from enough. He needs better things. He also has no suitable things, so he can only give up for the time being. Are you all sure about the puppet embryos? Then get ready to start. Now it is afternoon, tomorrow morning when the sun rises. Qingyu said. When carving the totem rune, only carving knife is needed. The carving knife used is a unified low-grade Xian tool carving knife. It is even more difficult to use a carving knife that you are not familiar with. Peng Wang picked up the carving knife and very quickly carved on the puppet embryo. At first glance, it can be seen that he is very skilled and has practiced many times. Qingyu, you are well prepared, Granny Ma said coldly. If you want to succeed, you must be fully prepared. Qingyu smiled and said, Little brother Qin Yun, don't worry, your strength is still very strong. Even if you lose, no one will laugh at you. After all, you are only 9th level martial Dao realm. Although Qin Yun can't use the mental resonance Xian pen, the pen is integrated with him, so he can also use the Beast King inscription spirit inside the pen. Qin Yun is expressionless. He clenched the carving knife that is not easy to use, then condensed the power of the blood spirit and began to carve. It takes a very special skill to carve totem rune on this kind of puppet embryo. Because the totem rune is carved inside the puppet embryo and cannot appear on the surface. It can also be carved on the surface, but if the totem rune on the surface is damaged, the puppet will be damaged. Little brother Qin Yun, are you sure you want to carve the golden ape totem on this tiger puppet embryo? Qingyu cannot see what totem Qin Yun is carving. I didn't say I want to carve the golden ape totem, Qin Yun said. There was a burst of exclamation in the square. The totem rune that Qin Yun has mastered is not only the golden ape totem. Granny Ma is secretly happy. She feels that the odds of winning are a bit better. She quickly shouted at Qingyu, Don't disturb Qin Yun, let him carve the totem rune in peace. Qin Yun has the dragon tiger totem for a long time and has long been familiar with it. Moreover, it has also been evolved by Mo, the high priestess of the elves. His dragon tiger totem rune is a Xian totem. Xian totem is much more complex and powerful than spirit totem. Absorbing the same level of energy, the power released by the spirit totem is not as good as the Xian totem. Interesting. Qingyu is still very confident and calm, he said to Granny Ma. Such an excellent disciple, you have to train him well. I heard that he was bullied by many people in your immortal weapon city. Qingyu, you want to poach him, right? Granny Ma asked coldly. I don't have that idea. I just want to remind you to treat excellent disciples well. Qingyu has such an idea. He just wants to poach Qin Yun. Immortal Weapon City has a very powerful immortal tool. If they lose here, it means that the strength of Immortal Weapon City will decline, and the overall strength is definitely the most backward among the 5 immortal sections. Therefore, Granny Ma and others must not let such a thing happen. Many of the people watching the battle here are from other immortal sections. Among them, the people of Medicine Immortal Valley and Azure Flame Immortal Mountain are eager for Immortal Weapon City to lose. In this way, they will no longer have to be afraid of Immortal Weapon City. Although the major immortal sects have their own immortal tools, Immortal Weapon City is the strongest. The onlookers want to see what the result is. If Immortal Weapon City loses, they can witness the beginning of the decline of a super-immortal sect. Watching the engraving of the totem runes is very boring because nothing can be seen. When Qin Yun and Peng Wang engraved the totem runes, they penetrated the power of the blood soul into the puppet embryo and did not reveal the totem runes at all. Even many old Xian inscription masters can't see anything. The people waiting are talking about all kinds of things which are also recent events. What everyone was looking forward to the most was the upcoming martial arts tournament. It is said that divine power will be sent, which is also provided by the Divine Inscription Palace. The reason why the Divine Inscription Palace wants to hold this martial arts competition is also because the Divine Inscription Palace is established by various sects and has earned a lot of benefits over the years. Therefore, the Divine Inscription Palace will often hold some grand events to issue generous rewards to outstanding martial arts geniuses. Under the patient waiting of everyone, the night passed quickly and the sky was about to dawn. At this time, Peng Wang was the first to finish. Seeing that Qin Yun is going to lose, the people of the family forces are also very anxious. If the immortal tool is lost to Qingyu here, their family forces will not be able to get as many resources as before. The strength of Immortal Weapon City will decline, and in the Proud Star State, they will definitely not be able to compete for any resources. What is Qin Yun doing? It's actually so slow. Can he finish? Granny Ma, if I knew earlier, I would have let Lu Jingming go. You see, he has not finished yet. The people of those family forces, all of them are very anxious. Many of the mines and industries in Immortal Weapon City are under their control. If there is no immortal tool to deter other immortal sects, their resources will be invaded. All of you shut up! Granny Ma shouted at the old men who were making noises. She was also nervous and her palms were sweaty and her heart was flustered. Although Qin Yun is slow, he is very stable. He has the assistance of the Beast King inscription spirit. Carving beast totems is not a problem. The reason why he is so slow is to make the totem runes stronger. When carving, the more blood soul power is injected, the thicker the totem runes can be and the more violent the flowing energy can be. I'm done. Chapter 574. 574 Chapter. Hua Kuang. Seeing Qin Yun complete, the people of Immortal Weapon City all breathed a sigh of relief. Especially Granny Ma, she was just nervous to the extreme. If Qin Yun can't complete it, there is no hope of winning. Now, as long as the two people refining the puppet beast, see who is stronger, who wins. Everyone has been looking forward to it for so long, finally waiting for the most exciting moment. Qin Yun's puppet beast is black, Peng Wang's is gray, the size is the same. Well, the two puppet beasts will fight under your control. Qingyu is also a little excited. He feels that his apprentice will be able to defeat Qin Yun's puppet beast and win. Start! Qingyu shouted. The battle between the two puppet beasts began immediately. At the beginning, it was very fierce. They were all pouncing and tearing. The puppet beast is made of Xian Yuan steel. When colliding, it also splashed a group of violent shock waves. Just a moment later, there are many damaged places on the bodies of the two puppet beasts, big pits and other scratches. What a strong puppet beast! It can completely defeat the Martial Dao 9th level martial artist, even if it is the Spirit Martial Realm martial artist. Encounter this level of puppet beast, may not be able to defeat. Qin Yun is only Martial Dao 9th level. How can he refine such a powerful puppet beast? This guy is really a genius. His own strength is very strong and his talent in the Tao of inscription is even more terrible. The totem rune he carved is not a golden ape totem but a beast totem similar to a tiger beast. What is the origin of Qin Yun? He has this kind of inscription ability, certainly not self-taught, right? Where did his two totems come from? As the crowd was surprised, Qin Yun's black puppet beast suddenly opened its mouth and bit the other's neck. Gotcha! This crisp sound came out. Peng Wang's gray puppet beast's neck was bitten off a large piece. This is impossible. The refining materials of the two puppet beasts are the same, so the strength is the same. It is impossible to bite each other. The most surprised is Qingyu. He quickly shook his head and said, "The puppet beasts were all created by him." In his opinion, the strength of these two puppet beasts were about the same. If they were to fight, it would only be a matter of who could last until the end. When the two puppet beasts were full of energy, it was impossible for them to crush one side. But now, Qin Yun's puppet beast had bitten off the neck of Peng Wang's puppet beast. Qingyu suddenly thought of something and shouted in alarm, "Qin Yun, your totem is Xian totem?" When everyone heard this, waves of exclamations instantly erupted, and they didn't dare believe this was true. Mystic totems were rare. Especially the totems used to make puppets, most of them were spirit-level totems. It was extremely rare for someone to possess a Xian-level totem and also be an inscription master. When everyone obtained a totem, it was the most basic spirit totem. It needed to evolve into a Xian totem later. Qin Yun's puppet beast became more and more ferocious as it fought. It flew over and bit the other party's neck. Gotcha! With a bang, the puppet beast's head rolled onto the ground. Granny Ma's cold face was suddenly filled with a smile. Immortal Weapon City won. Everyone started shouting as well. Qin Yun, a young man of 9th level martial Dao realm, actually defeated a spirit martial realm Xian inscription master. And it is the most profound totem carving victory. This kind of talent is as outstanding as Lu Jingmeng. Several old men of the Lawkeeper Hall all showed a happy smile. Their immortal tools do not have to be given to Qingyu. Although the people from the various families and forces were relieved, they still felt very upset in their hearts. Because Qin Yun is their enemy and Qin Yun hates them bitterly. Senior sister, I won. Qin Yun looked at Lu Jingmeng behind him and said with a smile. He regretted that he did not ask Granny Ma for more things, otherwise he would have a big harvest now. Qingyu lost and his mood is very bad. He has been preparing for this for many years but still can't win. Qingyu, you said before that this is the last time with our Immortal Weapon City and there will be no more in the future, right? Granny Ma asked. This, I am somewhat dissatisfied, because my disciple Peng Wang is best at alchemy. Qingyu sighed slightly and patted Peng Wang's shoulder. He spent most of his time studying alchemy and now he can refine royal-grade spirit pills. That's very powerful. Granny Ma looked at Peng Wang in surprise and said, "You have such a good disciple, I am really happy for you." Granny Ma, let's compete again. Let's compete in alchemy. You send an alchemy disciple. Immortal Weapon City should also have young alchemist, right? Qingyu said, his face is not reconciled. Because after this, he can no longer find Immortal Weapon City to compete and there is no chance to get that immortal tool. Qingyu, we have no young alchemist to compete with you. Granny Ma smiled. You give up. How about this, if you win, I will give you the inscription spirit, Wildfire. Qingyu gritted his teeth and made a difficult decision. That is the inscription spirit I just got. As long as I get the Wildfire inscription spirit, Inscription Master can get twice the result with half the effort when carving fire attribute runes. Inscription spirit is a good thing and it is a very rare wildfire. Wildfire inscription spirit is very practical. That's because fire attribute runes and totems are very common and can be used in many places. The inscription masters present all exclaimed in an instant. Qingyu, how about the disciple of my medicine Immortal Valley compete with you? An old man from medicine Immortal Valley quickly shouted. If I win you, what can you give me? Your medicine Immortal Valley's immortal tool? I don't like that piece of junk. Qingyu curled his lips. An old man from Azure Flame Immortal Mountain also shouted anxiously. Qingyu, our Azure Flame Immortal Mountain also wants to compete with you. What do you want? Our Azure Flame Immortal Mountain can afford it. We will definitely give it to you. As long as I win, you give me the immortal tool of Immortal Weapon City and I will compete with you. Qingyu smiled. I don't want anything except the immortal tool of Immortal Weapon City. Azure Flame Immortal Mountain mainly cultivates fire and medicine. Immortal Valley is the same. They often use fire. If they have wildfire inscription spirit, they can carve better and stronger fire attribute runes, which is of great help to them. Inscription spirit is very rare. The Star Lord inscription spirit that appeared before made the sect masters of the major sects go crazy. The elders of those sects saw that Qingyu is so persistent and shook their heads. Granny Ma, you also saw how precious the wildfire inscription spirit is. In order to let Granny Ma agree, Qingyu took out a big bead. Inside the bead in his palm, there is a cluster of flame. Inside the beating flame, there are many strange lines, burning and spewing flames like a variety of fire runes. Qin Yun is very excited. Qingyu, you go back. Granny Ma, of course, knows the preciousness of the wildfire inscription spirit, but she does not dare to take risk. They finally got through the tribulation, and now they can't take risks again. Qingyu sighed and just turned around. Qin Yun walked up and said, Senior, how is this thing? Is it a good thing? Qin Yun took out the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron, and the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron was made very small by Qin Yun. Only by approaching can you see the runes on the body of the cauldron. Qingyu frowned and found that there are 9 groups of Heavenly Lion totem runes on it. He suddenly trembled. Good thing! Qingyu exclaimed. I and your disciple compete in alchemy. I win, this thing is yours. You win, the wildfire inscription spirit is mine. Qin Yun quickly put away the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron. Everyone was curious and wanted to know what Qin Yun had just taken out. It actually made Qingyu so excited. Qin Yun has several ancient Dao tools and also mastered Xian level totem. The things he took out made Qingyu so excited, which made people even more curious about his origin. The most incredible thing is that Qin Yun actually knows alchemy. Good. Can you refine pills? Qingyu nodded and agreed, but he couldn't believe that Qin Yun could refine pills. Refine royal grade spirit pill. No problem, I also know a little about alchemy. Qin Yun smiled. It is not surprising that inscription masters know alchemy. After all, the Tao of inscription is much more difficult than refining pills. Moreover, the tools needed to refine pills need to be refined by inscription masters. Granny Ma and others really did not expect that Qin Yun actually hid so deep. Mu Feng just saw Qin Yun's small cauldron and also knew that it is Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron, a very precious thing. Well, if Peng Wang loses to you again, I will be convinced. Qingyu smiled. He knows the value of Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron and even thinks that Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron is better than the immortal tools of Immortal Weapon City. Ling Yuner also told Qin Yun that Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron is a Dao tool that knows how to evolve. Because the totem runes on it are very strong, it can evolve into an immortal tool in the future. This guy is a person who knows what's good. Xiao Yun, don't lose Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron, that's a very good thing. Ling Yun said. Rest assured, I don't refine many pills but my level is not low. Qin Yun feels that through the 9 Sun Divine Spirit, he can absorb 9 Sun spiritual energy and improve the quality of pills during alchemy. Also, the medicinal pills and equipment he refined were all very good. They are refined according to the blueprints on the mysterious pill scripture, using star rune and moon rune refining. In the competition to refine pills, the tools used are generally used. Refine a more commonly used royal grade spirit pill, myriad poison purging pill. You have to refine it within an hour. Whoever has higher quality wins. Ing Chengyu said. Good. Qin Yun heard of this kind of pill for the first time and did not know how to refine it. He said, I don't have medicinal herbs. Rest assured, I will provide the medicinal herbs. Ing Chengyu smiled and then took out some medicinal herbs. There are white jade-like ginseng, black snake gall fruit, purple leaves, and a green mud-like rhizome. Chapter 575. Immortal Fire Alchemy. Qin Yun took out his own alchemy equipment, which is the Xian-level alchemy equipment that he used to refine Bone Spirit Xian Pill. Although it is specifically used to refine Bone Spirit Xian Pill, it can also be used to refine other spirit-level pills. The main purpose of that set of equipment is to optimize the medicinal materials needed for Bone Spirit Xian Pill, which can better support the medicinal materials of Bone Spirit Xian Pill. Very good. Ing Chengyu looked at it and did not find any storage space inside and was relieved. He did not see the star rune and moon rune inside, because when Qin Yun was refining, they were hidden inside and most of them are dark lines. Ing Chengyu's apprentice is very good at refining and alchemy. However, Ing Chengyu himself is not very proficient in these two aspects. He is only responsible for guiding. It is not him who guides his apprentice to learn Tao of inscription. It is someone else. It is Ing Chengyu who went to find various old Tao inscription masters to help guide. Qin Yun casually took a set of medicinal materials and looked at these medicinal materials. He also has some headache, because he does not know which to refine into powder and which to refine into liquid. Qin Yun and Peng Wang both took the medicinal materials. Senior, I also want to check Peng Wang's alchemy equipment. Qin Yun suddenly said, if the other party cheats, he will lose Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron. Yes. Ing Chengyu smiled very confidently. Qin Yun quickly walked over and picked up Peng Wang's golden round pill furnace. Just one? Qin Yun asked. Oh, you don't know, now the alchemy equipment is integrated. Your method of refining medicinal liquid and medicinal powder separately is a very ancient technique. Ing Chengyu said. The people of Medicine Immortal Valley also laughed. Qin Yun, who did you learn alchemy from? It is still so old and backward. Two alchemy equipment are separated. This requires you to take care of two equipment at the same time, not only energy consumption, but also divert attention to take care of them, then take them out and put them into the pill furnace to refine pills. This requires a third equipment. This process is very cumbersome, and during the conversion back and forth, there may be more energy poured in. The people of Medicine Immortal Valley have, pointed Qin Yun, they are indeed experts in this regard. Of course, the ancient method that Qin Yun was using was still being used by a number of people. When Qin Yun heard the words of the Medicine Immortal Valley people, he also felt that what they said was reasonable. That was because he also felt that if he only used one tool, he would be able to turn the medicinal ingredients into pills in one go. Qin Yun returned to his position and took out a pill furnace. This pill furnace was also refined by him according to the blueprints of the mysterious pill scripture. Seeing him take out the pill furnace, Ing Chengyu also walked over to inspect it. After checking, Ing Chengyu took out an hourglass and said, "The time is 2 hours, start now." After the hourglass turned over, Peng Wang put 4 kinds of medicinal herbs into the furnace. Qin Yun was somewhat dumbfounded. He had planned on seeing what herbs Peng Wang refined into medicinal powder and what herbs he refined into medicinal liquid. "Qin Yun, aren't you going to begin?" Granny Ma shouted softly from behind. I need to prepare my mood." Qin Yun looked at the medicinal herbs in a daze. "Qin Yun, have you not refined the myriad poison cleansing pill?" Ing Chengyu frowned and asked. "This is a very commonly used royal-grade spirit pill. If you learn alchemy you should know." "I really haven't refined it." Qin Yun smiled bitterly. The people of Medicine Immortal Valley once again burst into laughter, the others also followed suit. Qingyu is very happy, shook his head and smiled. You have not refined the myriad poison cleansing pill, and you are so confident that you can compete with Peng Wang? Do you think that alchemy is as easy as carving totems? Of course not. Qin Yun snorted. Qingyu felt that Peng Wang would win this time because Qin Yun is not so proficient in alchemy. Granny Ma secretly rejoiced that Qin Yun did not represent Immortal Weapon City to compete, otherwise they would have suffered heavy losses. Everyone is also looking at Qin Yun's joke. They also feel strange. Where does Qin Yun's confidence come from? He actually used very precious things to compete. This time I am in trouble. Qin Yun said in his heart, Yun you give me some ideas. White jade ginseng, green mud roots are used to refine medicinal powder, black fruit and purple leaves are used to refine medicinal liquid. Ling Yun said. Are you sure? Qin Yun asked in his heart. What can I do if I am not sure? Anyway, the medicinal herbs are transformed into medicinal liquid powder, and the medicinal power is still there. Wait for me to use immortal fire to help you burn the pill, the quality should be guaranteed. Ling Yun said. Qin Yun gritted his teeth and then removed the dirt on the medicinal herbs and did as Ling Yun said. After he put the medicinal herbs in the 2 boxes, he injected the flame and let the 2 boxes release a special power to transform the medicinal herbs in the box into medicinal powder and medicinal liquid. After seeing Qin Yun start, the people of Medicine Immortal Valley laughed loudly. Qin Yun, you will lose. You are messing around. All your medicinal herbs can only be refined into medicinal liquid. An old man of Medicine Immortal Valley said loudly. Qingyu also smiled and said nothing, he is more confident. The people of Medicine Immortal Valley know these medicinal herbs better, and they all know which should be refined into medicinal powder and which should be refined into medicinal liquid. Seeing Qin Yun tossing and turning, they know that Qin Yun has no level. Qin Yun cursed a few words in his heart, but did not stop. Don't worry about them. They are not necessarily right. Ling Yun said, medicinal powder and medicinal liquid are the root of medicinal herbs. If they are mixed together, they can eventually form a pill. Maybe it is just the quality, but don't forget your refining tools, coupled with my control and release of immortal fire, the quality is definitely very high. Ling Yun is also worried that Qin Yun will let his imagination run wild and lose his sense of propriety. Qin Yun certainly believes in Ling Yun so no matter what the people of Medicine Immortal Valley say, he will refine with peace of mind. Mu Feng is very worried that Qin Yun will lose the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron, which is a very precious thing. Qin Yun proceeded steadily. After 2 hours, he finished refining the medicinal powder and medicinal liquid. Then, he put the medicinal powder and medicinal liquid into the pill furnace, used his mental power to knead it into a ball and then released the flame to refine. When releasing the flame, Ling Yun will absorb the immortal energy and condense the immortal fire. Yun you control it well, don't burn those materials. Qin Yun is a little worried and told Ling Yun, you can rest assured, I don't know how rich my experience is. Ling Yun smiled very confidently. I will definitely win his wildfire inscription spirit. The people of Medicine Immortal Valley are waiting to see Qin Yun make a fool of himself. It has to be said that Qingyu's disciple Peng Wang, when refining, went very smoothly. He finished refining half an hour in advance, and Qin Yun is still there, with a sad look on his face. Master, we will win this time. Peng Wang wiped his sweat and smiled happily. That is, Qin Yun this kid, he has talent but he has not studied hard, so he is like this. Qingyu smiled and tidied up his messy hair. The people of Medicine Immortal Valley think that Qin Yun has no chance, because when Qin Yun refined the myriad detoxification pill, he did not strictly deal with the medicinal herbs, which is a taboo in alchemy. The difficulty of myriad detoxification pill is to use all the medicinal liquid to refine the pill, so the pill will be relatively small. If you refine some of the medicinal herbs into medicinal powder, although it can also condense the pill, the quality will drop a lot. Qin Yun is so reckless, it is not bad to be able to refine a pill, don't expect to win against a professional alchemist. For Qin Yun's inscription technique, everyone is quite admirable. But alchemy is not good. Medicine Immortal Valley is the authority in this regard, so many people believe in their words. Finally, 2 hours passed. Qin Yun took out a gray pill from the pill furnace. This kind of pill is originally gray, but the quality is high and low, it is difficult to judge directly from the appearance. However, Qin Yun's pill also has a pill fragrance and it smells very good. The people of Medicine Immortal Valley saw Qin Yun's pill and their faces were also surprised. Because according to their experience, this is a qualified myriad detoxification pill. However, according to Qin Yun's method of refining just now, it is impossible to refine a qualified pill. The most puzzling thing is that the pill refined by Qin Yun is relatively big. The reason why it can be so big is also because Qin Yun used medicinal powder. In contrast, the myriad detoxification pill refined by Peng Wang is much smaller. Qingyu, who has been smiling, also put away his smile at this time. The myriad poison cleansing pill refined by Qin Yun looked like it was up to standard. It was just too abnormal. Let's start testing the quality. Qingyu took out a tool, which is specially used to test the quality of the pill. This tool is more common, people who often go to buy pills will have such a tool. It is mainly used to test the quality when buying medicinal herbs, to avoid being cheated. The testing tool is a box. After the lid is closed, there is a transparent place on the lid, like a crystal, which will show the value. Qingyu first tested Peng Wang. 72 quality. Very good. Qingyu breathed a sigh of relief. Granny Ma also came to test. Although Qin Yun is not representing Immortal Weapon City in the competition, she also has to show that she cares about Qin Yun. 72. Granny Ma nodded. The old man from Medicine Immortal Valley said, 50 quality is qualified, 72 quality is in the upper quality. It's my turn. Qin Yun is also a little nervous. If he loses, Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppression Cauldron will be gone. Qingyu took it and after testing, his face changed. 78. Granny Ma shouted in surprise when she saw it. I won. Qin Yun's suspended heart finally relaxed as he revealed a smile. Senior, the wildfire inscription spirit is mine. The people of Medicine Immortal Valley shouted that it is impossible. Because Qin Yun's refining method is not right at all, but he can refine a good quality. Here you go. Although Qingyu is very sad, he still took out the bead and handed it to Qin Yun. Qin Yun got the inscription spirit and it is a very good violent fire, which made many people sigh with emotion. A person in his 20s, not even in the spirit martial realm, got this kind of thing that even martial emperors want. Chapter 576. 576 Chapter 576 Bone Dragon is mine. Qin Yun took the wildfire inscription spirit and was very happy. After looking at it, he put it away. Thank you, Senior. Qin Yun smiled. You are welcome, this is what you deserve. Qingyu sighed. Perhaps this is my destiny. I want to pursue a good weapon but I can't get it. This is just your opportunity has not arrived. Qin Yun smiled. Qin Yun, you must live well, I will come to you again. Qingyu looked at Qin Yun and said with a serious face, you must keep that thing for me. Let's go. Qingyu, with a sense of loss, quickly left the square with his 3 apprentices. This time, Qingyu's biggest harvest is Qin Yun. He got the wildfire inscription spirit. Those family powers are the most jealous. A long family old man with martial king strength came out and said, "Granny Ma, Qin Yun got the inscription spirit, it should be handed over to our immortal weapon city. If it were not for our immortal weapon city, he would not have this opportunity." After Qin Yun heard this, he said angrily, "Dream on! If you dare to be so arrogant, believe it or not, I will use this inscription spirit to reward the heads of all the martial kings in your Long family." "You dare?" The Long family old man was horrified and shouted angrily. "You say I dare not?" Qin Yun sneered. The Long family old man did not dare to say anything. Granny Ma said, "The inscription spirit is won by Qin Yun himself, we have no right to interfere." At this time, an elder of Immortal Weapon City said, "Granny Ma, Qin Yun got a very powerful bone dragon in the heavenly beast desolate domain. Because according to the previous agreement, the temporary disciples who go in must hand over the things they get." "You shut up," Qin Yun said angrily. "I entered the heavenly beast desolate domain with my own strength and did not enter through that door. Whatever I get in there, it belongs to me. If you don't want to, then expel me from Immortal Weapon City." Qin Yun's inscription technique is so brilliant, his talent is so high, and he mastered 2 totems. How could Immortal Weapon City expel him? "Qin Yun, don't be so selfish. We just want you to hand over the bone dragon to the Lawkeeper Hall to enhance their strength. That kind of thing is best given to the Lawkeeper Hall's Azure Dragon Law Protector." The elder sneered. They are jealous of the good things Qin Yun has obtained, so they want Qin Yun to hand them over. Even if they could not obtain it, all they needed to do was watch Qin Yun lose it. "Bastard, I'll give you the bone dragon, can you afford it?" As Qin Yun spoke, he released the bone dragon. As soon as the bone dragon appeared, it let out a heaven-shaking roar and floated in the air. The huge body of the dragon coiled in the air, and the mighty dragon head looked down. Looking at this mighty and huge bone dragon, everyone exclaimed again and again, feeling incomparably shocked. Many people were secretly envious of Qin Yun for having such a good item. The elders of the family forces shouted one after another, asking the Lawkeeper Hall to take back the bone dragon. The bone dragon was Qin Yun's, and he had refined it into a bone dragon puppet. He would never hand it over. "Why can't I afford it?" The elder laughed twice. "Watch how I take the bone dragon." The elder was very confident. He flew into the air and took out a storage Xian tool. Qin Yun smiled coldly and quickly controlled the bone dragon to attack. The huge body of the bone dragon danced flexibly and roared fiercely. The tail quickly swung out and slammed on the old man. Bang! When the tail hit, there was a terrible explosion. That's because the speed of the tail sweep is too fast. It can directly explode the air. Ah! After the elder was swept by the tail, he fell heavily to the ground. The floor tiles of the square were smashed and a pit appeared. The elder was also swept by the tail, and his body was covered with blood, and the bones in his body were broken. A spirit martial realm, martial master actually dares to subdue my bone dragon? Qin Yun sneered. When everyone saw the elder who was seriously injured, they all took a deep breath. Qin Yun is only at the 9th level martial Dao realm, but the bone dragon he controls has such a powerful strength. This is obviously not a puppet. If it is a puppet beast, its strength will also be limited because of its master. What they did not know is that this bone dragon puppet was refined by Qin Yun, and the puppet's strength is closely related to the control of mental power. Qin Yun's mental power is stronger than most spirit martial realm martial masters, so the bone dragon puppet he controls is also very strong. An elder of a family power quickly stood up and angrily rebuked Qin Yun. "You bastard, you actually injured an elder of our sect. You should be punished for offending your superiors." Qin Yun said coldly. "He wants to subdue my bone dragon, and my bone dragon will resist. His strength is weak and he can't dodge in time. Who can he blame? Alright, then I'll subdue it. The elder is a Xian martial realm martial monarch. He quickly flew up. The bone dragon quickly attacked the old man. Although the attack speed is very fast, it was still dodged. After the old man went up, he took out his storage magic tool and wanted to keep the bone dragon inside, but he did not succeed. At this time, the powerful puppet beast is not that easy to be taken in. Granny Ma shouted, "Enough! The bone dragon belongs to Qin Yun, we have no right to deal with it." Qin Yun seized tens of thousands of genes of heavenly beast bones for our immortal weapon city. The sharing is also very big. Seeing Granny Ma speak and her face is not good, those family powers can only give up. They just let Qin Yun give the bone dragon to the Lawkeeper Hall, so Granny Ma can't say anything. It's over, let's go back. Chu Binyu came over, patted Qin Yun on the shoulder and smiled. Granny Ma took Lu Jingmeng into the Immortal Weapon Palace, and other disciples of Immortal Weapon City also dispersed. The people of various sects also left the square in front of the Immortal Weapon Palace with surprise. Qin Yun followed Chu Binyu and came to the outer sect area of the Immortal Weapon Palace, a relatively quiet garden. In this beautiful garden, there are not many buildings, only a dozen houses. Villa Master, will I live here in the future? Qin Yun felt that the environment is very good and smiled. This is the residence of our outer sect elders and instructors. I just let you stay here for the time being. I will arrange for you and Jianmeng to be together. Chu Binyu smiled. You kid, you are almost a Xian inscription master, right? Villa Master, you cheated Jian Lang Hall Master. His flying eagle puppet is a very bad thing. Qin Yun said very disdainfully. Well, I had no other way at the time. I will compensate him in the future. Chu Binyu laughed. Don't be prejudiced against me because of this. Of course not, I will at most be on guard against you, so as not to be cheated by you. Qin Yun laughed. Jian Lang Hall Master is a good example. Chu Binyu can become a Villa Master and a guest elder of the Divine Inscription Palace. He can also mix in the outer sect area of the Immortal Weapon City. He must be a cunning old fox. It's a pity, if you had more spirit veins, the Lawkeeper Hall might accept you. Chu Binyu sighed. I don't think this has anything to do with spirit veins. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, The Lawkeeper Hall abides by the rules. It would be strange if the Lawkeeper Hall wants me. Also, I have to say that the Lawkeeper Hall is so old-fashioned, they actually made an exception to exempt you from punishment. Chu Binyu laughed. I thought they would exempt you from punishment for 1 or 2 years. Qin Yun laughed and said, Villa Master, I didn't just exempt her from punishment. What other requests did you make? Chu Binyu asked quickly. When I was in the dungeon, I saw those family disciples were not pleasing to the eye, so I asked Granny Ma to let me beat up those guys. Qin Yun laughed. She really agreed. What a pity. If you know the importance of that competition, you can raise the price and let the Lawkeeper Hall bleed. Chu Binyu sighed very sadly. A great opportunity is missed. I also saw the importance of that competition, but I didn't know it was so important. Qin Yun thought of this and felt very regretful. Don't say, you have a good rest, I will arrange for you to go to Jianmeng tomorrow. Chu Binyu said. The next morning, Qin Yun was woken up by Chu Binyu and left the beautiful garden. The residence of the outer sect disciples is relatively ordinary, especially the disciples who have just entered the sect. When I was in the Saber Sword Villa, I originally intended to become a royal grade saber courtyard. I really didn't expect that I would enter the Immortal Weapon City so quickly and become an outer sect disciple. Qin Yun followed behind Chu Binyu and muttered, I don't know how old Fan is doing, I miss him. Qin Yun, if you seize the opportunity, you can smoothly enter the Immortal sect. This kind of opportunity will appear from time to time. Without enough strength, you can't grasp it. Chu Binyu smiled. Jianmeng's residence was a very old house made of green bricks. There were a few relatively low houses in the house. The courtyard was covered with dry and hard soil and was overgrown with grass. Jian Mang was injured before but under treatment. He has recovered very well. He is wearing a black suit, his hair is cut very short, his eyes are full of scars, his eyes cannot be seen but his aura is very scary. Jian Mang, are you really blind? Qin Yun walked over and waved his hand in front of Jian Mang's eyes. Although I don't have eyes, I see things more clearly than you. The cold Jian Mang smiled. Because he had fought alongside Qin Yun, Jian Mang knew Qin Yun quite well. Well, you will be in a group from now on. In a few days, I will arrange for you to enter the fantasy field and hurry up to fight in the martial Dao list. Chu Binyu said, as long as you enter the top 10 of the Immortal Weapon City's martial Dao list, you can represent our Immortal Weapon City to participate in the martial arts competition. What is the fantasy field and where is it? Qin Yun asked curiously. Chapter 577. Chapter 577 Fantasy Field. After Chu Binyu arranged Qin Yun, he left in a hurry. Qin Yun looked at Jian Mang and asked curiously, what is the fantasy field like? Is it similar to the desolate domain? Qin Yun, you want to enter the Immortal Weapon City, and you didn't even investigate this kind of thing? Jian Mang curled his lips and said, the fantasy field is something left behind by the group of immortal soldiers from the Immortal Desolate. Over the years, it has been continuously improved by the Immortal Weapon City and become more and more useful. Qin Yun found it even more interesting. He thought it was just a place, but he didn't expect it to be a thing. Let's put it this way, the fantasy field is an illusion. It is said that some outer sect disciples and main sect disciples will get a special bed. The bed is a bit like a coffin. As long as you lie in it, you can go to an illusion. Jian Mang paused and continued. However, our bodies are still on that bed, and only our consciousness has entered the illusion. That illusory realm can link everyone's thoughts together and create a virtual illusory realm. In this fantasy field, although everything is virtual, the strength is also very real. In short, it is a very mysterious place. In the fantasy field, you can carry out all kinds of battles. Even if you are injured and die, it's fine. At most, you will only feel pain. In this way, you can do whatever you want in the fantasy field and carry out all kinds of crazy battles. After Qin Yun heard this, he was very interested. He wanted to quickly feel the magic of the fantasy field. Jian Mang said again, the fantasy field is something unique to the Immortal Weapon City. The most powerful thing is that you can temper your body in the fantasy field and become stronger in reality. I don't know the specifics. In short, we will have the opportunity to explore the magic in the future. Qin Yun chose a room, and not long after, Chu Binyu came again. This time, he brought a man in a black robe and a conical bamboo hat with him. He was acting very mysterious. The black-robed person came and took off the bamboo hat, revealing a beautiful and seductive face. The person who came is Demon Moon Island's Hu Jingxian. Hello, Elder Hu, Qin Yun said with a smile. You guys talk slowly. After Chu Binyu left, Qin Yun brought Hu Jingxian to the room he had just tidied up. Hu Jingxian smiled coquettishly. Qin Yun, congratulations on becoming an outer sect disciple of the Immortal Weapon City. What's there to congratulate? Qin Yun looked at Hu Jingxian's enchanting eyes and laughed. I didn't expect you to let Xiao Yuelan and Feng Honglan join our Demon Moon Island so quickly. I have to thank you properly. They are both very outstanding disciples. Also, that Qilin Grandma and Bai Xiaolu are also very good heavenly beasts. Hu Jingxian had a gentle and charming smile on her face as her beautiful eyes flickered. She was truly grateful to Qin Yun. Elder Fox, Big Sister and Second Sister are from the Tian and Yu families. I'm worried that the people from these two families will find trouble with them. Qin Yun said. Our demon Moon Island isn't even afraid of those immortal sects, let alone the 5 great clans. Hu Jingxian smiled gently. Yuelon and Honglan have joined our demon Moon Island. The Nether Moon Palace doesn't know yet. Don't talk about it. Wait until they dig up more people. Elder Fox, is it okay for your demon Moon Island to go against the Nether Moon Palace? Qin Yun was a little worried. What are you afraid of? The strength of the Nether Moon Palace is not as good as our demon Moon Island, otherwise they would not have to secretly get close to the medicine Immortal Valley. Hu Jingxian snorted. There are many disciples of the Nether Moon Palace who are complaining in their hearts because they hate those immortal sects very much. Elder Fox, I want to use the Golden Ape Totem to reward the heads of the 3 patriarchs of the Yang family, Tian family and Long family. Well, there is also the head of the Long family elder in the medicine Immortal Valley, the guy who took away our 4 ancient Dao tools. Qin Yun said. No problem, I will help you issue a reward as soon as possible. Your reward this time is more attractive than the ancient Dao tool from before. Hu Jingxian said with a smile. Qin Yun saw that Hu Jingxian agreed and was relieved. This was a method he had used to deter those great aristocratic families. Qin Yun, someone asked me to tell you something. Hu Jingxian's jade face, which was filled with a charming smile, suddenly turned serious and her voice lowered a little. What is it? Qin Yun asked. Be careful of the new sect master of Immortal Weapon City. Hu Jingxian whispered. Who is the new sect master of Immortal Weapon City? We are currently investigating, but there is no information. We only know that the new sect master is very strong. I will pay attention to this. I also have many enemies in this Immortal Weapon Palace. I am always very cautious. Qin Yun nodded and then asked, Who asked you to tell me? That person doesn't allow me to say it. And it's not to let you be wary of being killed by the new sect master, but to let you keep a distance from the sect master. You can't get too close to avoid other things happening. Hu Jingxian is only responsible for passing the message and does not understand the reason. She said with a puzzled face, This new sect master does not seem to be a bad person, but he just wants you to keep a distance. Don't worry, I will remember it in my heart. Qin Yun also found it strange. Then we'll meet again next time. I'm busy arranging other things. Hu Jingxian smiled. I'm running around outside now. I'm very busy. Elder Hu, when you are free in the future, you have to take me on a tour of the Spirit Desolate. Qin Yun chuckled. No problem. Hu Jingxian squinted her charming eyes and chuckled. Right, Elder Hu, can you do me a favor? I'm looking for someone, her name is Qi Meilian. Qin Yun told Hu Jingxian about Qi Meilian and asked her to help pay attention. Not only did he entrust Hu Jingxian, he also entrusted Mu Feng to inquire through the Divine Inscription Palace. After Hu Jingxian agreed to Qin Yun, she left the Immortal Weapon City. Because she is doing business and has a good relationship with the Immortal Weapon City, she has a special access token and can often come here. Not long after Hu Jingxian left, Chu Binyu arrived. After Chu Binyu arrived, he took out 2 beds and placed them in the yard. The middle of the 2 beds is concave and there is a lid. It is a bit like a coffin. However, the material used to make the bed looks very strong and special. This is what you need to enter the fantasy field. You put it in your room. As long as you leave the Immortal Weapon Palace, you will not be able to connect to the fantasy field. Chu Binyu said, I thought it would take a few days to prepare it for you. I didn't expect the efficiency of the Lawkeeper Hall to be so fast. It's done all at once. Qin Yun and Jian Mang, after dripping blood on the 2 beds, took them back to their rooms. Then they came out and listened to Chu Binyu talk about the rules of the fantasy field. In the fantasy field, everything is virtual, only power is real. So when you are inside, you can use your powerful strength to go on a killing spree. If you kill a fellow, you can get 2 points. If you are at the 9th level of the martial Tao, killing a martial master of the spirit martial realm will give you 4 points. The more points, the higher the ranking. Points can be exchanged for cultivation techniques, weapons, talismans, armors, mounts, and various magic weapons, so you must use your points carefully because it will affect your ranking. The martial Tao list of our immortal weapon city is based on the points of the fantasy field. There is only one martial Tao list in total. The main sect disciples of the spirit martial realm and the outer sect disciples of the 9th level martial Tao realm are all in the same martial Tao list. So, you 9th level martial Tao realm, when you meet those spirit martial realm martial masters, it is best to hide far away. Because they have a lot of points and a lot of equipment after you go in, you have no weapons, even the origin sword can't be released. When Chu Binyu said this, he looked at Jian Mang. Villa Master, after we go in, can we only be bare-handed? Qin Yun thought that after going in, he could rely on his own weapons. Yes, it is an illusory world. After you go in, you can only bring your strength in. Chu Binyu smiled. Sometimes there will be some elders inside. If you can successfully kill the elders, you will get more points. After you go in, you have to pay more attention to the core inside. It is also very strong. If you can also join a core. Unfortunately, if Kumingjiang is not seriously injured, it would be best for you to join his core. You can't cheat inside, that is to say, you can't be willing to be killed by others. Otherwise, the killer and the killed, deliberately cheating to earn points, will be deducted 1,000 points as a punishment. Well, you can try now and try to rush into the top 10. Only by entering the top 10 can you represent our immortal weapon city in the proud Star State Martial Arts Tournament. Chu Binyu felt that it would be difficult for Qin Yun and Jian Mang to enter the top 10, but he did not say it, worried that it would make Qin Yun and Jian Mang feel disappointed. Qin Yun and Jian Mang went back to their rooms and then lay in the coffin. After lying in, Qin Yun had a very comfortable feeling, and then his consciousness gradually became blurred, as if entering a dream. When he opened his eyes, he saw that he was in the middle of a beautiful prairie and there was only one sun in the sky. Xiao Yun, this is just an illusory space, but it enhances the sense of reality. Moreover, it connects many people's consciousness together, allowing many people to enter the same dream, and then fight in this dream. This kind of actual combat can improve the use of martial skills, as well as increase the rich combat experience. Ling Yun also felt that it was very magical and exclaimed, "In this dreamland, I am restricted, I can't imagine the weapon I want." Qin Yun tried but was unable to produce the 9 Sun Divine Hammer. Yes, this is the power of the immortal weapon fantasy field. It can build an illusory world that is close to the real consciousness. The advantage is that when there is a cruel competition here, there will be no deaths and injuries, and it can also improve the strength of the disciples. Ling Yun smiled and said, "This is a good thing, you have to use it well." Qin Yun nodded and then swept to a place. Just after he ran for half an hour, he met a group of people riding horses, men and women. From the strength point of view, they are all spirit martial realm martial masters. Chapter 578. Fantasy Field. Refining. Qin Yun was surrounded and there was no weapon in his hand. He could only flee in a hurry. After all, there are dozens of spirit martial realm martial artists. Without the dragon resisting boots, my speed is a lot slower. Qin Yun just escaped not far. He felt that his body was pierced by a spear. Then, a group of people flew over and fiercely slashed at him. In just a few moments, he was cut into pieces and then gradually disappeared. Qin Yun, who was lying on the bed, opened his eyes and woke up. His body was in pain. "I died in the fantasy field." Qin Yun could not help but curse. That is a core, I remember them. In the fantasy field, your heavenly lion Xian body and bloodline are useless, everyone's body is the same. Ling Yun'er said, this means that your strength is greatly weakened in the fantasy field. Qin Yun now also realized that without the heavenly lion bloodline and Xian body, his strength will be weakened so much. My totem martial arts should still be able to be used, right? Qin Yun frowned. It seems that even the martial spirit can't be released inside. Jian Meng can't use the origin sword. Life is not good. Yes, you can only use martial arts inside. The power of the martial spirit should still be able to be used, but it can't be released outside the body. Ling Yun'er said, you wait for the pain in your body to subside and then go in. After Qin Yun waited for the pain in his body to weaken, he lay down again and soon entered the fantasy field. This time, he appeared in another part of the grassland and he immediately lay down and hid. In the fantasy field, as soon as he closed his eyes, he saw that his score is -1 point, ranking first from the bottom. Jian Meng 2 points? This guy killed a person, amazing! Qin Yun was slightly surprised. He was killed by a spirit martial realm martial artist, and only 1 point was deducted. If he was killed by someone of the same level, 2 points would be deducted. He looked at the top 10 people, and he did not know them. Ranked 20th is Kumingjiang, his strength is also very good. The higher the people in the front, the stronger they are. They have a lot of points and can exchange for a lot of equipment. Qin Yun thought about it and whispered, I want to rush to the top 10, it is easier said than done. Qin Yun opened his eyes and looked around. It was still the grassland, the place where he had died. He looked at the traces on the grassland and knew where that group of people had gone. However, he did not chase after him. Otherwise, he would just be giving away points. Let's focus on our development first. Qin Yun closed his eyes and saw a map. He wanted to go to a safe place and see if he could join a corps. He tried using the shadow power and was actually able to use it successfully. I wonder if I can summon the Nether Realm Heavenly Lion? He tried but did not succeed. However, he could use the power of Earthquake Divine Art. He could also use his psychic power to control things to fly around. It's daytime now, it's useless for me to use shadow power. I'll use it when it's dark. Qin Yun feels that he can still get a lot of points with shadow power. The immortal weapon fantasy field is still very large. There are rivers, mountains, oceans, lakes, volcanic swamps, jungles and ancient forests. There are also many beasts. Killing beasts can't be exchanged for points. However, you can use the things on the beasts to make simple defensive equipment, such as bone spears, bone shields and so on. Beast skin and scale armor can also be worn as clothes, which can increase some defense. People who enter the immortal weapon fantasy field, I don't know if there are any inscription masters? Qin Yun is suddenly very curious if he can forge talismans here. I think it should be possible, because there are also various weapons and talismans for sale. Ling Yun'er said, after getting the materials, give it a try. In the afternoon, Qin Yun carefully flew on the grassland, and there is a jungle in front of him. Suddenly, he felt an aura behind him. It is the aura of the spirit martial realm. There's someone there. He quickly looked behind him, and discovered that it was an old man dressed in black. The old man's speed is very fast. He was only a few kilometers away from Qin Yun, but now he is catching up. Qin Yun sensed the murderous aura of the old man and sped up. He used mysterious star steps and rushed to the jungle. This old guy, a spirit martial realm martial master, what's the point of killing me? Qin Yun saw that the old man is fully equipped and he will definitely lose if he fights. If he has the power of Heavenly Lion Xian body, he is not afraid of the other party. Brat, don't run. Hurry up and give it to me. The black-clothed old man shouted with a grin. You wish. Qin Yun has a negative score. If he is killed again, he doesn't know when he can increase his ranking. The black-cloved old man's speed is very fast, but Qin Yun is not slow. He quickly rushed into the jungle. After entering the jungle, it is not so easy to catch up. As long as Qin Yun holds on until night, he can use the shadow force to hide, and he doesn't have to worry about it. The black-cloved old man used to easily catch up with the 9th-level Martial Dao Realm Kid, and then he was killed. But this time, he chased for more than an hour and did not catch up. It's dark. It's dark inside the jungle. Qin Yun also used the shadow force to hide in the darkness. This old guy has 4 points. Qin Yun hid in a tree and looked at the confused old man below. He is very excited. He doesn't have the power of Heavenly Lion Xian body, and it is not easy to deal with the spirit martial realm. Fortunately, he still has the power of 3 Dao cores. The power in this area has not been weakened. Qin Yun is on the tree, carefully tracking the old man, thinking about how to quickly kill the other party. The black-cloved old man is also very cautious. Just when the old man was about to give up, Qin Yun suddenly fell from the sky and activated the earthquake divine ability power, and then controlled the divine ability power to flow in his body. Then, he used the power of this divine ability and punched the ground vigorously. The terrifying vibration power rushed down from the sky. The black-clothed old man is also extremely shocked in his heart. He was instantly shocked to the point of pain in his body. After Qin Yun succeeded, he used the 6-style forging dragon, used the 9 extinction vibration Dao power and punched the old man. "Little bastard, how dare you sneak attack your grandfather?" The old man shouted angrily. "You old bastard, you are not even worthy to carry my shoes." Qin Yun snorted coldly, his fists are even more fierce, constantly bombarding the old man's body, causing him severe pain. Although this is an illusory space, the pain is very real. The old man was beaten and screamed. He has no power to resist. At the beginning, Qin Yun shattered his bones and meridians, and then he was hit by Qin Yun's ferocious fists, causing severe pain all over his body. "You go to hell, thank you for giving me points," Qin Yun said and vigorously blasted the old man into pieces. The old man is a spirit martial realm martial artist, a main sect disciple. He was actually killed by an outer sect disciple who just entered the sect. Qin Yun now has 3 points. Finally, it is no longer a negative point. It's night now, I should take the opportunity to find more people. Qin Yun secretly rejoiced that his shadow power has a very good use. Xiao Yun, your nether sun martial spirit, can also release a kind of gravity. It is a very strange power. You condense that power into a ball of air and shroud others. It makes others feel that their body is suddenly very heavy. Ling Yuner said, "You can't control this power now, I can." "Is it a lot of consumption?" Qin Yun asked. "Not too much. If you deal with a spirit martial realm martial artist, you can use gravity to press on him and then slow down his speed." Ling Yuner laughed and said, "It will be more convenient for sneak attack. Unfortunately, after killing people, the equipment will also disappear." Qin Yun thought that snatching a weapon would make it more convenient for him. His current goal is to get a good weapon. Only in this way can he go to the large core and kill them one by one. At night, Qin Yun shuttled through the jungle and encountered several fierce beasts, all of which were killed by his sneak attack. At daybreak, he dug a hole in the ground and hid. He wants to start using the skin and bones of those fierce beasts to refine talismans. Although there is no tool, after he used the flame light fist, he can make his fist become hot. He can use his fist as a hammer and use the 6-style forging dragon to forge the soft bones. Without all kinds of steel, it is possible to use beast bones to refine tools, but it is not that good. The first thing Qin Yun wants to refine is a furnace and then a forging hammer. When carving, he used his fingers to force out the power of the blood soul to carve. With his mastery of the inscription, this is not difficult at all. In here, I can also refine talismans, great. Qin Yun was very happy and said with a smile. I can refine some body-securing talismans or something, can't I kill? Qin Yun felt that he did not need to join any corps at all, and could do it alone. He quickly refined the furnace and forging hammer, and then used the beast's skin to refine a storage bag. Although there is no such material as Space Spirit Stone, as long as there is a high-grade Space Spirit Rune, it can also refine a storage spirit tool. And Qin Yun has mastered the Space Star Rune. Without special materials, he can refine a large storage spirit tool. The beast bones of several fierce beasts were used by him very well. He refined 5 throwing knives and a broadsword, all of which are only high-grade spirit tools, but it is enough for the time being. Then there are high-grade body-securing talismans, a total of 5. They may only be able to freeze a spirit martial realm martial artist for half a second, but it is enough for him to use urgently. During the day, Qin Yun also woke up and left the fantasy field. He waited for the night to go in. Now, he wants to fuse with the violent fire inscription spirit, which will allow him to carve fire attribute runes faster. With the guidance of Ling Yun he smoothly fused with the violent fire inscription spirit. After dark, Qin Yun once again lay on the bed and entered the fantasy field. Many of the disciples who entered the fantasy field know that Qin Yun has come in. Especially those family disciples, they are looking for Qin Yun everywhere. Their goal is to prevent Qin Yun from getting points and prevent Qin Yun from entering the top 10. The old man he had killed earlier had also spread the news that Qin Yun was in the forest. Chapter 579. Deep in the tiger's den. Qin Yun didn't know about this, but he was still very careful in the jungle. Little Yun, as long as you are careful, you won't be killed. Ling Yun said, whether you can enter the top 10 depends on whether you can find more people. This immortal weapon fantasy field is still very big. How can I find more people? Qin Yun slowly advanced through the forest. In the fantasy field, there is a safe city. You just go outside the city. Ling Yun smiled and said, kill whoever you catch. Anyway, this is not real. The purpose of entering the fantasy field was to go on a killing spree. There will be no consequences for killing people here. Now, Qin Yun is on the way to that city. He walked carefully for 2 days and encountered 3 fierce beasts, all of which were easily killed by him. It's going to be dark. As long as it's dark, I can walk faster. Qin Yun floated in the air and looked at the setting sun in the sky. During the day, he walked slowly in the jungle. Only when it was dark did he dare to fly in the air. With his current strength, if he encountered a large corps, he would definitely be killed. Jian Meng, this guy is quite fast. Qin Yun closed his eyes and checked the scoreboard. Jian Meng got 4 points. He only got 3 points. Of course, his 3 points are also surprising. Previously, some people saw that he had -1 point and now he has 3 points. Obviously, he killed a spirit martial realm. Those who have just entered the fantasy field are all poor and will be weakened in all aspects. It is very difficult to deal with a spirit martial realm martial master. Someone is here. Qin Yun suddenly sensed an aura and quickly rushed into the jungle below. In the air, several people flew over. I didn't see wrong, there was indeed someone floating here just now. A middle-aged man said. I'm alone, is it Qin Yun? It's very likely, let's find him quickly. If we kill him we can also show off, haha, these people are all spirit martial realm martial masters and they are a small team. News travels really fast, they know that we are here so quickly. Qin Yun secretly curled his lips, he is not worried at all. Because after dark, this was his world. As night fell, the earth suddenly trembled slightly, and a muffled rumbling sound came from afar. What's this commotion? Qin Yun immediately stopped in his tracks. Horses! Ling Yun said, there should be a large group of people riding horses rushing in. Could it be that army from before? Are they here for me too? What's there to kill? Even if those spirit martial realm cultivators kill me, they would only get 1 point. Qin Yun is very unhappy. Could it be that they want to show off? Qin Yun was only at the 9th level of the martial Dao. It was not worth it to go through so much trouble to kill him. They had wasted so much time and manpower to find him. Even if they succeeded in killing him, they would only get 1 point. It was meaningless. The army that flew over was indeed looking for him. The sky darkened. Qin Yun hid in the darkness and carefully flew on top of the tree. The group of people riding on strong horses slowed down their pace after they came in. This should be the edge of the jungle. I will be able to get out soon. Qin Yun looked at the direction of the horses rushing and was secretly happy. Then he carefully flew over. There are a total of dozens of people riding horses. They are the corps that killed Qin Yun before. Our Balong corps should be the first corps to come here. We must catch Qin Yun. As long as we catch him and torture him a little bit, we don't have to kill him. He will never be able to earn points. This trick is really ruthless, but I like it. We take Qin Yun back and just keep him in the cage. If we don't let him go out to earn points, he won't be able to enter the top 10. Those people whispered, their aura is not weak, they are all very strong spirit martial realm martial artists. After Qin Yun heard it, he was also very angry. If he was caught and locked in the cage, he would not be able to leave the fantasy field and would need to sleep for a long time. In the fantasy field, if you want to go out, no one can be nearby. If you suddenly leave the fantasy field in the battle or in the case of other people, that person will be deducted 1,000 points as a punishment. This is to prevent people from escaping the battle in the fantasy field. If you are caught and locked in the cage and someone is watching, you can't wake up and can't leave the fantasy field. You need to sleep in the coffin bed. If you wake up, you will be deducted 1,000 points. Therefore, being arrested was a very vicious punishment. Balong corps should be formed by the Long family. Do they want to retaliate against me in this way? It's really vicious. Qin Yun cursed in his heart and then came up with a plan. He quickly appeared and pretended to run away. The middle-aged men also immediately found him and quickly chased after him. Not long after, Qin Yun was surrounded. Are you Qin Yun? Haha, you are caught by us. A middle-aged man took out a rope and tied Qin Yun up. Then several other middle-aged men also took out ropes and tied Qin Yun up like a dumpling. Qin Yun tried it before. He can also use the mysterious penetration divine ability, so these things can't tie him up at all. Big brother, we caught Qin Yun. A middle-aged man took out a sound transmission conch and shouted happily. Good, bring him back quickly. A very happy laughter came from the sound transmission conch. In this way, he was tied up and taken away. After dawn, he was taken under a big mountain. There is a cave here, obviously the headquarters of the Balong corps. Qin Yun was escorted into a stone chamber in the deepest part of the palace. In that stone room, there is a cage made of beast bones. Qin Yun is locked in the cage. Outside the cage, there are several people guarding. The guards are only 9th level martial Dao realm. They are watching here to prevent Qin Yun from leaving the fantasy field. The Balong corps caught Qin Yun and also publicized this matter. Qin Yun was locked in the cage for a few days. He also saw many leaders of the Balong corps, all of them are spirit martial realm. And there are people from other corps who also came here to see Qin Yun. Qin Yun, I am a disciple of the Yang family. I didn't expect you to be here today. Haha. You will be trapped here forever. If you don't mind being deducted 1,000 points, quickly leave the fantasy field. The Balong corps really has a bit of skill. They actually caught Qin Yun alive. If you kill him, you just get a point, it's not a fart. Yes, this is the best way to lock him up, so that he can't enter the top 10, can't get the cultivation method through points. The most powerful thing in our immortal weapon city is this fantasy field. We all get powerful strength through this fantasy field. He is locked up and can't become stronger through the fantasy field. The commanders of a few regiments were laughing heartily here. They are all people of family power. Being able to make Qin Yun fall into such dire straits was something they were very happy about. Let's go out and kill people and rush into the top 10 as soon as possible. A middle-aged man laughed. Although they are the heads of large corps, none of them entered the top 10. It's really not easy to enter the top 10. After they left, there are still a few people looking at Qin Yun. Qin Yun released his mental force and sensed that there are more and more people outside. He also felt that it was time to take action. After dark, many people of the Balong Corps gathered here. The people who guard Qin Yun also take turns to guard him. They have to maintain full energy. Everyone knows that Qin Yun entered the fantasy field not long ago. When they caught him, they didn't see anything on him. Qin Yun originally had a storage bag, but after he refined it, it could be hidden inside his body, and it would not be discovered. So they didn't guard against him. At night, Qin Yun took advantage of the 5 guards not paying attention to release a few throwing knives and then used Imperial Spirit technique to control the throwing knives to fly out. Shwa shwa shwa. The throwing knives flew out and penetrated the heads of the 5 people, killing them instantly. He used the mysterious penetration divine ability and left the cage. In just a short while, he got 10 points. Those dead guys will soon enter the fantasy field. At that time, they won't appear here. While they haven't leaked information, I want to kill as many people as possible. Qin Yun passed through the stone door and left the stone room. After going out, he came to a very spacious lobby. Many people gathered here, listening to a middle-aged man explain some martial Dao knowledge. After Qin Yun came in, he immediately controlled the throwing knives to fly over. He also held a knife and used the 6th-style Wind Slayer to kill those 9th-level martial Dao disciples. In this lobby, there are nearly 100 9th-level martial Dao disciples. Qin Yun rushed in and waved the 6th-style Wind Slayer. That terrible saber energy, like a wave, one wave after another, rushed to those 9th-level martial Dao disciples. The saber energy is like a raging wave, overlapping and rushing out, killing a large number of people at once. And the 5 throwing knives controlled by Qin Yun also penetrated many people's heads and killed many people. The middle-aged man who was lecturing was a spirit martial realm. He just wanted to resist, but 2 throwing knives penetrated his head and throat, and he was instantly killed. In this lobby, nearly 100 9th-level martial Dao disciples were killed by Qin Yun and their bodies gradually disappeared. The disciples who were killed would wake up on that bed, and they would feel pain and fear. The people of the Balong Corps did not expect that Qin Yun, whom they caught, could actually run out and destroy their group. The movement inside is so big that it also alarmed the dozens of spirit martial realm martial masters. They all rushed over one after another. Qin Yun sensed those powerful auras and was very nervous. He is very calm. He now has a weapon and is not so weak. Chapter 580 580 Chapter 580 Annihilation. Before the martial masters arrived, Qin Yun left the cave abode. When he left, he did not forget to kill all the horses. Those horses are mounts that they exchanged points for. They cost 200 points each, which is quite expensive. He doesn't want them, and he can't take them away, so he can only kill them. This will also make the Balong Corps sad. After Qin Yun came outside, the 20 martial masters of the Balong Corps also rushed out. Qin Yun, don't run if you have guts. The person who spoke is the commander of the Balong Corps. He looks very young, in his early 20s, wearing a black armor and holding a heavy sword. If I don't run, do I wait to be caught by you? Qin Yun laughed and continued to run. I am Long Ziming, a child of the Long family. Don't you hate us the most? Long Ziming sneered. I will give you a chance now, let's have a good fight, how about it? You are a spirit martial realm martial master, equipped and have so many companions, I will not fight with you. Qin Yun coldly snorted and still ran. You can rest assured that they will never attack, only I and you will have a fair fight. Long Ziming said, I also want to see your strength. Long Ziming also knows that his core has been destroyed by Qin Yun more than half. He didn't suffer any losses, but Qin Yun benefited from it, allowing him to obtain more than 200 points. Qin Yun just entered the fantasy field not long ago, and he got more than 200 points, which is very powerful. Okay, I will fight with you. Qin Yun suddenly stopped. If he is killed, he will only lose 1 point, which is not painful for him. He wants to fight with Long Ziming to see how his strength is. That's right. Long Ziming smiled proudly and the heavy sword in his hand slashed at Qin Yun. The speed of his sword is not fast, but it has a very strange power. That strange power has a kind of suction force. Qin Yun originally wanted to avoid the sword, but because of the suction force, his body became a lot slower. In desperation, he can only use his saber to block. Boom! Qin Yun's saber hit to block and a shock force burst out. Long Ziming's heavy sword also used a violent impact. The energy that erupted from the collision caused Qin Yun's arm to feel a slight pain. Damn, without the heavenly lion Xian body, it's not easy to use. After Qin Yun sheathed his saber, he immediately slashed out a few more times. This time, he used the 6-style Wind Slayer. You are not so good. Long Ziming waved his sword to resist and blocked several swords in a row and repelled Qin Yun. Qin Yun had to admit that he did not have the power of a Xian body or bloodline. It was extremely difficult for him to fight against a martial artist of the spirit realm. Yuner, use that power, Qin Yun suddenly said to Ling Yuner. At this time, Long Ziming also rushed over, roared, and stabbed with his sword. Thunder Flash Sword Art. This is a high-grade Earth Realm martial art. The commander is getting more and more proficient. A middle-aged man who was watching the battle from afar laughed. When the sword stabbed over, it produced a strange suction force, making it difficult for Qin Yun to even move half a step. Rumble! Qin Yun had no time to dodge. Even if he waved his arm to block, it was very difficult and slow, causing his chest to be hit by a sword. Long Ziming used the Thunder Flash sword art and rushed over like thunder, sending Qin Yun flying dozens of meters. Qin Yun was lying on the ground, there was a big hole in his chest, and he was in great pain. Qin Yun, you will lose. Long Ziming jumped over and fell from the air. His heavy sword pointed at the ground. His body suddenly rotated and stabbed the ground. This is still the Thunder Flash sword art, and it is even more terrifying. At this moment, Ling Yuner released the power of the Nether Sun Dao Core, which produced a very heavy force and rushed to the sky. Long Ziming fell down. His heavy sword rotated and stabbed down, hitting the gravity. Rumble! The violent collision sent out a wave of berserk energy. Suddenly the wind roared, rolling up a large amount of fallen leaves and dust. Long Ziming was shaken out, his arms trembled, and when he landed on the ground, he was a little unstable. Although Qin Yun blocked Long Ziming's terrible sword, he was also shocked and felt severe pain all over his body. Not bad, really worthy of the reputation, you have a bit of strength. Long Ziming sneered and attacked again. Qin Yun didn't know what kind of power Long Ziming used. It always produced a strong suction force, causing him to move slowly and even difficult to move. As soon as Long Ziming came over, Qin Yun jumped away quickly. He didn't dare to approach Long Ziming at all. Long Ziming saw Qin Yun hiding from him and suddenly said angrily, Qin Yun, don't you want to compete with me? Why are you hiding? Hurry up and get over here. Long Ziming, you may not know your core killed me once before. Qin Yun smiled coldly and suddenly flashed over. Haha, if that's the case, then it's great. Long Ziming laughed and quickly slashed his sword. The suction force appeared again, and after Qin Yun sensed it, he quickly retreated more than 10 steps. He found that as long as he kept a distance from Long Ziming, he could avoid the suction force. Little Yun, I'm ready to start. You see the opportunity to attack. Ling Yun'er suddenly said. Just now she suddenly released the gravity of Nether Sun Dao Core to block the terrible blow of Long Ziming. Long Ziming attacked several times in a row and failed to hit Qin Yun. He was very angry and shouted, Qin Yun, you coward! If I catch you, I'll definitely torture you ruthlessly and make you wish you were dead. Qin Yun also rushed over. Catch me? You don't have that chance. After Qin Yun passed by, Ling Yun'er quickly released the gravity force and pressed on Long Ziming's body. Long Ziming only felt that his body suddenly became heavy and it was difficult to move, but Qin Yun came to him. Save me! Long Ziming suddenly screamed. Qin Yun waved his saber and cut off Long Ziming's head. He sneered. You said before that they would not attack, what about now? Long Ziming was killed and Qin Yun also got 4 points. The 20 martial masters of the spirit martial realm also rushed over and surrounded Qin Yun. Then, they attacked together. Qin Yun jumped to the sky, then released the power of shadow, hid in the darkness and disappeared. The martial masters below were all astonished. Although it is night, their eyesight is very good. Even if there are very small things in the air, they can see it clearly. But Qin Yun, such a big person, suddenly disappeared in the air. Qin Yun hid in the darkness and quietly landed on the ground, controlling the throwing knives. Xiu xiu xiu. After 5 throwing knives flew out, they instantly penetrated the heads of 5 martial masters. People in the fantasy field don't have good armor. And Qin Yun's mental power is very strong. The throwing knives he controls are also very sharp, flying quickly and piercing the heads of those martial masters. Hidden in the darkness, he suddenly drew his saber without a sound. 6 Style Wind Slayer. With 6 consecutive strikes, he had killed 6 martial masters. The throwing knives also caught up with the first few martial masters who fled and killed 5. The last few remaining martial masters were also injured by Qin Yun's throwing knives. They did not escape far and were killed by Qin Yun's flying knife. Are they wiped out? Qin Yun looked at the gradually disappearing bodies and smiled slightly. The strength of the Balong Corps is also relatively strong. But now it was wiped out by Qin Yun alone. After all, it was rare for a regiment to be annihilated, let alone annihilated by a single person. Qin Yun's points suddenly became 323. All of a sudden, he ranked more than 200. This made many people who always pay attention to the ranking of points suddenly shocked. In less than an hour, Qin Yun got more than 300 points. It is obvious that he wiped out a corps. Not all disciples are in the fantasy field all day long. Those who are ranked in the top 10 will only enter the fantasy field when they are about to be overtaken to increase their points and maintain their ranking. At this time, the top 10 people also heard that Qin Yun suddenly increased a lot of points. Chu Binyu was also very happy to learn the news. The one-eyed old man frowned and said, Half of the top 10 disciples are disciples of family forces. I don't know what they will do. I am also very worried. If they catch Qin Yun in the fantasy field, it will be troublesome. Chu Binyu thought of this and was secretly worried. Being caught in the fantasy field is the most troublesome. Especially being captured and constantly tortured, that's the most unbearable. There were disciples in the past who were caught and tortured. Then they couldn't stand the pain and left the fantasy field, and were deducted 1,000 points. There are too many disciples of the family forces. If they unite, Qin Yun will definitely be in danger. The one-eyed old man sighed. I hope Qin Yun can successfully enter the top 10. Chu Binyu was originally happy, but when he thought that Qin Yun would be attacked by the disciples of the family forces, he was secretly worried. On the side of the family forces, 4 men and 1 woman were invited to a luxurious hall. These 4 men and 1 woman are the top 10 disciples in the martial Tao list, and they are all disciples of the family forces. An old man looked at the 5 disciples and said, "Qin Yun destroyed the Balong Corps. You should have heard about this, right?" "I heard about it." A dark-faced youth with big ears sneered. "Qin Yun is really capable. He has only been in the fantasy field for a few days, and he has already gotten so many points. The mission of the 5 of you is to capture Qin Yun. Don't kill him, just don't let him have any action inside and stop his points from increasing." The old man said, "Alas, our vacation is coming to an end, and we have to lie in that coffin again." A short man said with an unhappy face, "Qin Yun, this bastard, disturbed my vacation. I caught him and I must torture him severely." Don't underestimate the enemy. Although Qin Yun is a martial artist at the 9th level martial Tao realm, he is very difficult to deal with. I heard that he has a weapon, but I don't know how he got it. The old man warned sternly. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.